let me have it joined. But Derek he was talking like he don't have any time for this. He only gets an hour for from daily work. So I was like, okay, it's okay. But then I've thought about to reach out to you and talk about this. So yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. So what's the strategy?
Actually, the thing that I want to do is let me hold on. Can I have someone else on call? He's
Yeah.
just okay, wait a minute. I think we should go to a server. We cannot have, or we can.
Yeah, you want to go into the just the VC from in that server that we're in?
Wait a fucking second. Okay, can you start that thing for me?
What?
Or like right now, to have someone on this call as well, and that call should be restricted. Like,
Wait, I'm confused. I'm confused. What exactly are you trying to do?
I just wanted to have someone on call.
Yeah, you see at the top right on Discord, there's that little icon. It says add friends to DM. It's like the second one from the left. Two little people in the plus sign. You see that?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. That's how you can add people to the call. We'll do this like temporarily, um, just for like right now, and then just so you can add the person right now, like quick, and then we'll add them to the server if we need to.
Okay, is there anyone active on the server that we've just met on?
Um, it looks like Derek is online, but I mean,
Sleeping here, idle.
oh, I mean, he's idle, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Um, it's kind
Got it,
of
got it.
kind of early, but all right, I'm joining this.
So yeah, thing is that the one thing that I wanted to, the main idea that I have in my mind is to first of all go for the games that are like OG games specifically.
Hmm.
The ones that are always being appreciated. If I use any of the examples that are like the Max Payne 3 and the
Or like
uh,
Mario 64.
no, that's something that goes out of the circle because that's a game that doesn't has any kind of an aesthetical or storytelling or something like
What do
that.
you
It is a
mean?
good game.
Wait. Mario 64 has like consistently had waves of content like every 3 years for like the past like
Like
20 years.
you can take out the content like if you're talking about any kind of a specific content, but I'm just telling you my idea, what my idea was. I'm gonna come to your ones as well, but first that was my in my head. So
Okay.
to to take that game, it can be like Max Payne 3, Grand Theft Auto 4, Spec Ops: The Line, in which you have that sensation of story and the real deal that yeah, these games are like serious. They're
Yeah.
seriously talking about something that is happening in real time.
I
Okay,
actually want to play GTA 4. I want to go back and play GTA 4 again, like ASAP.
yeah. Okay, so you use that game if you go play a specific level, chapter, or mission, whatever is that inside of the game. You play that one, and then you um, use some kind of a real life thing that is going on right now, like anything that is up right now in a society or somewhere else, whatever. I don't know. So you can take that topic, you can match it up, and then you can post it just like that. Like there's, for example, if there's something that happened, like a shootout happened somewhere, okay, in real life,
Hmm.
and then you don't have the footage, or even you have the footage or whatever. You just tell the thing, and then you play a certain game according to that. Like you can launch up a game like a Ready or Not or Ground Branch, if you know the games, and you play that, you do the shootout thing yourself. Like actually you change the moment. Actually whatever happened, it happened. But when you're doing that, you do it on your own way. And that's how he shot it. He shot him, and bam bam, all that stuff. So that's how you do it. That's how you combine two topics. One is the game, one is the actual event, and then you create that kind of content that at least gets the critic and the criticism, because all of that stuff attracts a lot of you can
Okay,
say
well, let me ask you this.
yeah, yeah,
If you like create some analogy to some current event, right? Something controversial, obviously, because controversy gets clicks.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
are you more concerned about getting views or more concerned about being right about it?
Both of them, both of them, they have to be balanced. If we go for one thing, we'll lose the other. So we have to keep a balance to it.
Well, what happens when being right about something gets in the way of the views? Because oftentimes when you're talking about current events, I mean, I I want to do the same thing, but with like movies and anime and stuff like that, and tying those things into deeper philosophical ideas, but not current events. Because current events are playing out as they happen, and it's like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
won't know all the details until it's like actually over.
exactly. So we
So
have
to me, it's like if I were to do it for current events, I know I would be wrong the majority of the time, unless I have like all the information. I have all of it, and that's like, and if you want to be early, if you want to be quick, and you want to rile people up to get like controversial memes made and all that kind of stuff, eventually there's gonna be. I feel very quickly too. There's gonna be a point where you can choose either to get way more views or to not be wrong, like intentionally wrong, like not be deceptive.
exactly.
And you're gonna have to go down one path or the other. Either be truthful about things and like make it as like ethical as possible or whatever, or maximize views. That's what I feel like. If we're dealing with current events, I feel like that's
Yeah, yeah,
inevitable. I feel like it's inevitable. I mean that's why Twitter exists,
yeah,
because the trending page shows you whatever's most controversial.
yeah, yeah. But the idea was to, uh, display that in a certain way, like in which you can create a thing. Like you can change that event, or you can make that event as you want specifically. It's in your hands. Either you want to make it more juicy. It's in your hands. Either you want to make it more, uh, you can say gory or whatever.
Okay,
So that's what,
give me an example of how it would work.
like, first of all, uh, as I just told you, we're gonna pick a specific game that is like kind of the OG game always. Like in wherever you talk about that game, if those people played that, they always appreciate that game. Okay, that was the first thing.
Okay, so yeah,
Second thing
give me
is,
like a specific game that you like. Just run me through an example
yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah,
how
yeah,
it
yeah,
would
yeah.
look.
Yeah. Okay, so the game I'm gonna choose is specifically, let's go with Max Payne 3,
Got
if you
it?
played it.
I haven't played it,
Played
but
it?
I know about it.
Okay. So that game is like rich in storytelling and a lot of concepts.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the narration and all that stuff is so humorous and, kind of like that. Now, in that specific game, or you have these events and these, humorous talking between the main protagonist and stuff like that. That's how it leads here. Now, you'll cut that clip, okay? Then we're gonna have it, like, if there's anything, we'll talk about that later if we'll start working on it. If there's an event or there's a topic, like you've seen this new trend that came up of memes and stuff where there's something serious, then you add up something on it to make it look like more funny. Okay, that's the concept. No, I don't want to make it funny, but that's the concept of it. Okay, so you do the same thing here. You take up a topic, whatever is being talked about, and you put that game over that in a connected way, that specific thing, clip, or whatever is we're talking about in the game gets connected to it. Same example I'm going to give. Another one is, if you talk about something, if you're making a story or something, you can use a game to even do that. Like, you can go for a game like Ready or Not or Ground Branch to do that actual thing that happens inside, and then you can connect a story with that, if you understand that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but that story has to be realistic, like something that is happening right now.
So, okay, right, do you keep up with current events? Because I try to stay out of it. Like right now,
Actually, I like, not with the major ones, uh,
you would
but yeah,
have
we
to though,
have to.
right?
Yeah, yeah, but not with the major ones. Like, first, if you ask me about my background thing, I've started working. I've been a game analyst first of all for like 2 years. I've in like 2016, 17. I've been a reviewer. I was working with someone in the US. He had thing that he has to get the games and the first hand copies to review that before they get launched, because you have to uh, check out the bugs and stuff and the glitches and all that stuff. So he has to, because he was, connected with me, he has to send the work to me. I used to do the reviews and all that stuff. I had to make a review on that on the paper. Like, then I used to send them, and that's the first job I was doing. Second thing, I've been a fitness and health consultant for like 2 years. I did instructed calisthenics in a gym fitness club, and after that, for 7 months, I've been a cybersecurity consultant. Now, when I got into cybersecurity and that kind of a shit, I got introduced with like shit ton of information about like how the hell world is working right now. Like, I had connections in Russia and all that stuff, but we had this one wall between us of business and information. Like, we're just to each other, just business. That's it. There's nothing more than that. There's nothing like a family or whatever, or brotherhood, or it's not like, because that's not how they work. So that's what we're doing, sharing informations and doing all that stuff. That's all. So that's what my background is. After like 2021, I've dropped my network because of some personal reasons, because I was done with these things. I've been through a lot of bad shit and that. So that's why I dropped my network. All of my social existence were like, I was a ghost for like 6 years, and then I was doing nothing. I was like, let's give myself some time and something like that. Right now, I'm just doing some script work for someone. I have an online client that I work with, and that's what I'm doing for a living right now. So this is something that I had in my mind for a long time. I wanted to work on it, but I wanted to work on it in a different way, like do the actual act, like actually make some kind of a story short film or something, and then you can use these games and their ways, their tactics over that to create some kind of a content like this, basically. But I've never found anyone specific to that kind of mindset. So that's why I was like, okay, let's just finish it. So I didn't. worked on it as well. That was the reason.
So you're waiting for other people to help you with it?
Nope. I was waiting for a right community, someone that can like understand this and work with it, because I cannot work with the whole thing. I have some responsibilities that I need to take care of. I just have some time that I can use to play with one part.
Okay.
That's what.
How do you how do you see it going? Like like how long do you think it would take for you to make one of these videos? How many views do you think it would get? How much do you think it would grow
I
you
think
and the other people that are involved?
first of all, the schedule that we'll have is we'll do it like it depends, because it depends on the people that we'll have. If, for example, if I'm the one, I'm going to do the script work, for example, and then there is an editor who's going to edit the whole thing. He has to be similar mindset it like us, and then it's going to be you, either you who's going to play the game in that specific manner, not like you want to play and you want to enjoy that. No, you have to play it in that specific manner to get things out of it. Like, okay, so that's if that's the team, that's all the people that are working, then I think it's going to be like, first day you'll do your thing, you'll play the game. Second thing is mine, I'll do the script. Third thing is the editor ones, he'll do the editing, and the fourth day is going to be uploaded, and then that's how the whole cycle is going to go. Because right now, what I've seen, what I've been watching, is basically, as far as the if you if you look out for the people who are surfing this kind of a content using the social media in a way, it is not like it used to be. People are like watching stuff so fast. They want anytime anyone opens up an app, he just wants to look at something that comes up with something different. Okay, that's what he stops on. Otherwise, he's just scrolling on and on and on and on until he watches something that is different, that just catches his eyes. Okay, so that's what people watch and spend time on. And the content is so fast. Like, if I use an example, the way that I want to make it is, if you've seen Oppenheimer.
Hmm.
uh, I, I haven't seen it, but I've seen a video someone posted, that the editing method they used, it's like it's a 3 hours movie, but the way they edited the whole movie just feels like it just runs so fast, it plays so fast. You just don't even get bored. Like, hey, it's a 3 hours movie, I'm getting bored. No, it's so fast, it's in a flow. So that's kind of a content I want to make with a flow. I'm not so much like strict to it. I'm not gonna be. That's why I'm here to, do the collaboration and talk out. Just like you, I've reached out to you for this specific way because I know that person, Dirk with shirt. He did not had any ideas. I'm not, dude, saying that he was not aware of this. He had something in his mind, but he was not really serious about this. Like, he wasn't. He just wanted to have like the thing running. So all of that I just stated, he didn't add it up with something else into it. So that's why he told about you. Hi, I got a person who has similar. I was like, okay, then push me into it.
Okay,
So
well,
yeah,
what's the incentive for, like, let's say you have a team of four working on it. What's the incentive for the other three?
from
Because it's
me
like it's
basically.
business, you know.
Yeah, I understand that, because at the end of the day, we have to do it for not for just to make something, but of course we have to take something out of it too. So incentive, specifically, we're not working under anyone, okay? And if there's someone who's like doing funding us or something like that, I don't know. I don't necessarily know anyone like that. But if there is someone who can do it, then that would be good. But then, of course, we'll be under him in some manner. So, yeah. But at the end of the day, we're going to get a lot of stuff out of it as well. I don't have any like specific thing. Like, we're not working under each one. Like, yeah, there has to be something that can feed us, that can be enough for us to have it running. But at the end of the day,
Well,
it
no,
just
I
depends.
mean, if you believe in the idea and you're willing to put in the work to make it happen before you get monetized, I'm sure other
Yeah,
people would
yeah,
also be able to believe in the idea and not take any cut or anything like that before it gets
yeah, yeah.
monetized. But what about the
Yeah.
structure after that? What about once it starts making money?
Then it will be distributed between us, the people who are working, like evenly, because it's not going to be something like, hey, I'm going to get the higher cut because I did this. He's going to get the higher cut because he did this. No, it's going to be distributed like evenly because everyone is doing his part of job and what he's good at specifically. I've chosen. I would have chose to play games if I wanted. I would have chose to be like, hey, I want to play the games. You want to do your work. The editor wants to do his work. I just want to play games. I don't want because I've been playing enough games, but the thing that I'm good with right now, I chose that. Doing the research, coming up with something critical, and then making a script on that specific topic.
Do you
So
have
yeah.
like when you thought of this idea, did you have any particular like current event in mind in that moment of like, oh, this would be a good one if I could have done it?
About like what specifically?
About like any current event. Cuz like I like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
still
go on.
tricky for me to visualize. I would still want to see like one of them made first before I can like truly say I understand it. Like I'm still trying to
Well,
figure out, is it more of a like parody? Is it going to be
no,
more
no.
educational? Is it going to be like I'm still trying to figure out like what exactly it's going to like I'm trying to have a vision for it.
So you're asking that if I've ever worked on something like this as a do I have anything like a prototype of it?
A prototype or like did you have a prototype for a script or did you have like was there any specific current event that you were like, "Oh, this would be good to make a script," but you just never ended up making it?
Um, about this or something that I was doing. What about this?
About this.
First of all, I think I tried to, but at the end of the day, I was a little struck of the fact that my mind is open for ideas. I know this that I cannot be the boss of something. I understand that because there's even if I come up with something solid, there's still something that can be, covered up, that can be grown up, but someone else is going to do that. Someone who can be familiar with that concept. So when I tried to do that specifically, I did this with a game called Spec Ops: The Line.
Mhm.
Actually, that game is about from the poster. That game looks like it's just a military shooter shit game, but in the end, like inside of that game, it is more about what PTSD looks like, what it is really. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like on that concept. So in that game, there were a lot of like scenes, and there were a lot of like uh, you could say moments where I've seen like those clips, and I've just thought that if I just turn that up, take it from that game, and if I make some kind of a thing out of it, like what actually PTSD looks like, what it is, and in a gaming way, like in a gamer, because at the end of the day, if you were coming up with something, if you're trying to solve a problem for the society and something, you come up with something like a real life example. Either you make that, either you try to make a film on it, either you try to make a story on it. But it is something that the games do, and games have been doing this from a long time, about grief, about all that stuff and whatever. So you can show the same thing, but from a gaming's perspective, because that's something that's going to be new to the society. Yeah, gamings are being used for this because back there the games are just being used for like fun or whatever. They don't see that from this perspective, and this perspective was like more it became more of a like blurred out since this online thing started over in 2019, so people just forgot all these old titles and they just ran to the online gaming community and whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be that. That's what I thought at the end of the day. But I was looking for when I did my research on topics, there were a ton of them, like a lot of them. So I really needed someone to, talk with to come up with something just to hop on one simple thing, like one single thing. Yeah, that's what we should go for. That is going on right now. That's what we should go for. So that's where I just stopped myself like, hey, okay, I have the idea, but let's see if I can have someone on same thing.
I really like that idea. The what PTSD looks like, and you use Spec Ops Line to show it. I like that.
Yeah. On the Max Payne 3, if you haven't played that, I recommend all these games that you should play. In that game, it is more about grief and acceptance and, something like that. In which the actual character is going through, it's just a part of the gameplay, but that what the game reflects. That, yeah, you've had people that you've lost, and now it's just grief. But at the end of the day, you have to accept it and stuff like that and all that.
You
And
ever
then,
you ever seen this dude's channel, Max Jarrett?
wait a minute.
You'd like it. You'd like it. You could check it out on your
Nope.
own time, but
No, I haven't. What he does,
he doesn't necessarily um he doesn't necessarily talk anything about current events, but what he does a similar sort of thing in terms of like pulling out the depth of games, of like games that
oh,
a lot of
yeah,
people think are like self-evident
just,
or like simple, and he'll really like pull out
okay.
the deeper philosophies and tie it into like ancient religious philosophies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. But this same concept, we're gonna connect it with like some things that are happening right now. Because right now people don't care about whatever happened way back there, or what is the philosophy and all that, because people know how the world runs on, how the world's working. It's so different than that. So he's doing a nice job, but he's going into the games, like deeper into the games, what the games are coming out of. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the games that are reflecting that one thing and how it is connected with our society and our recent terms and whatever's happening right now.
Okay, so your channel is it's not really a gaming channel. It's like a social commentary channel that's going to use gaming
My channel,
or this idea
my channel.
or this idea. Not maybe not your
Yeah,
channel,
yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But all these games that he's been playing, these are like the games that are like they don't really reflect, because these look like supernatural, superhuman or humanos ways and things. But those games are like more down to earth, really relatable to humans and whatever they do. They don't contend, hold up any kind of a superpower and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that's what feels familiar and related and connected with the society, basically.
Hmm.
Then if you wanna make something like
Okay,
for
okay.
yeah,
There's two things I disagree with you so far with.
okay,
Number one, the whole idea of like, oh, he's making videos about things that happened in the past or things that people figured out so long ago, and people are not interested in that because people know how the world works. Dog, no one knows how the world works.
yeah, exactly,
The highest level of enlightenment is realizing that no one will ever know how anything works, and
yeah, yeah,
so there will absolutely be a market for this,
yeah.
and
I know,
it actually creates a really positive community of people who are really humble for the stuff that this
yeah,
dude is doing.
yeah, yeah.
And
No, what I
even if
specifically
people,
talked about,
but
what I
like if you're
specifically thought,
whatever you're going for, it's a different thing, and I get that. But yeah, there's absolutely going to be a huge market and a growing market of what this dude is doing. But if that's not what you're going for, then that's not what you're going for. You go for something new. But also the idea of like, oh, this has a lot of like supernatural stuff, bro. The video game, any video game will have super. I mean, the video game itself, you can literally respawn. You know, as realistic
That's a
as people might try to make their games. Uh, like, man, I remember how many foolish arguments people would have about how like, oh, Call of Duty is more realistic than Halo, like way back in the day. But it was the most like pointless conversations ever. Oh, it's the same sort of thing as like reading fiction versus nonfiction books. The What matters is how deeply a story resonates with people, because people can absolutely have an imagination enough and suspension of disbelief enough to go through a play supernatural game and have it relate to them just as much as any like hardcore realistic type of game if they have a suspension of disbelief. But then again, I mean, different people have different levels of that kind of thing. A lot of people like don't have the level of imagination to like tolerate anime and things like that. So it's up to the person. But um if that's not the kind of content you're trying to focus on, then that's not the kind of content you're trying to focus on. Simple.
things that
What I'm thinking about now is like,
the two things that you disagreed on, actually, the point that I was trying to make was that's what people think right now. Like whoever you talk to, whoever you go at, he thinks like he knows the thing because now things are more accessible, things are this. That's what they think. I'm not like
what
they think, they really think.
what country do you
That's
live
what
in?
they Well, I am in uh Pakistan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You said you were in cybersecurity, so I assume you have
Yeah.
good OPSEC. And I assume if you didn't want me to know where you were, you wouldn't tell me. And if you don't want to tell me where you are, you could just let me know, because I try to keep my OPSEC pretty clean as well, and I'm a tad familiar with cybersecurity too. So like, if you want to stay
Okay.
anonymous, I'm totally cool with that. But
No, no, we will connect to each other once we're like, I'm not saying that I'm not really comfortable with it, but we will get connected if we you know
yeah, yeah,
take
of
each other
course,
onto this ride
of
furthermore.
course. But yeah, you got a pretty good accent, really like understandable compared to a lot of other people that are on Discord. But what
So
I want to see
what
one of
is
those
your
videos get made. I want to see one of your video ideas get made, and I'm sure we can talk to the people in this Discord server and see who would be interested in being involved with it.
sure? I'm up for it.
But you should have a video idea in mind and pitch it. Like, you should have a video idea in mind, like, oh, what PTSD really looks like, or
Yeah.
something like that, something along those lines. Um,
But what can you add up on this? Like, do you have anything specific in your mind as well about this? I just because that's what I don't really want to do, to crag at whatever I want, because I know I am not perfect for this. There has to be someone like you who can, you know, chuckle that up a little bit. So, is there's anything that you want to add into it? Like, hey, yeah, that concept is
I'm not gonna be perfect for it either. And honestly, I think this idea resonates a lot more with you than it does with me. I don't have that much of a vision for it, to be honest.
so. What
Um,
do you have? Like,
here's what I see. Look, if you're going for making money, I don't think this is the way to go. If you're going for views, I don't think this is the way to go. Honestly, of course, you live in a different environment. You see a different paradigm shift around you. So you might look at that and go like, okay, there's a huge audience for this kind of thing. But what I
yeah,
see
yeah,
around me, I don't see that much of an audience for this. I see an audience shifting away from that kind of content. But I do
okay,
see an opportunity to like, you know, as much as people might be shifting away from like IMAX in like Oppenheimer stuff,
yeah,
someone who
yeah,
comes along and does it really well will still generate $1 billion. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
there will always be like a staggering market for it that exists in people, but they're just not actively looking for it, but you just have to do it really well. My thing is like, if you were to have a video idea about like some about like PTSD, or about like, oh, what this game says about the reality of like gang violence in this country. Like, I'm thinking about GTA 4 and things like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I'm catching your drift. I'm
yeah,
catching your drift.
it's hard to come up with examples myself because I don't get involved with current events all that much. But if it's a video idea I like, honestly, I think the most I can contribute personally is like, I'd love to dive in and do the research and go down the rabbit hole and see what I find. I wanted to like I would love to like dedicate like a couple weeks of my time, like maybe an hour a day for like a couple weeks, to like really go deep on some topic and really understand it, because I'm passionate about understanding that topic. So if you come up with a good topic that I like, then I would be so down to dive into the nuances and read studies and look at the parallels throughout history and all that stuff, and like find interesting connections that you could include in your video, just for the learning experience for me. Just because I'm like, I have an insatiable drive to learn. I'm obsessed with it. I'm a student of the game, and I'll always be a student. And so that's something I could add personally. But with the server that I'm like I created, I have every intention of growing it like big time and keeping it super active with only active creators. Anybody who's in it who's not going to be active, I'm going to kick them out. Because I've seen so many servers pop up like this, and their inactivity rubs off on everyone else in the server. And I want to grow it. I want to create groups of like experts in different kinds of fields. I want to start this thing early called Arc Labs, actually, where it's like a scientific community, and I use them for consulting for video essays. I think this kind of thing would work really well if it's like deeply researched, like really well made animations in the game, like good renderings, things people don't even like experience in the game because it's like high barrier to entry. Like adding mods to the game where it makes the characters resemble the characters in real life that you're talking about, like texture packs and things like that that can do it. Things like that. Like I'm thinking about like, okay, the video's got to go all out and be like a true explainer video. Like I don't want to. My vision for what this could be is like, instead of making like one video a week or one video, every 3 days or whatever, and trying to just keep up with current events and just be early, it would be like one video a month, and it would be like a Lemino type of video. You know who that is, Lemino?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be like a Lemino type of video, not in terms of like what it is, but in terms of like production quality. And
Mm-hmm.
each video would get like 7 million to like 20 million views type thing, where any person who is interested at all in like the nature of like gun violence, or the nature of like of this mental illness, or the nature or like some war or something like that, anyone who has any interest at all, even a little bit, has all seen that video. It becomes like a seminal video in that community type thing, and like everyone's aware of it. That's my vision for it. Like super high quality, like heavily promoted, but like one video like per topic, and it just like covers the whole thing, like goes super hard, puts it to rest type thing. That's my vision for what I'm seeing right now. But of course, it's you're gonna have your own vision for it.
So actually, it is
What I
about.
could add, aside from like just being personally interested in a particular topic, and like doing the research so I could like help you while also educate myself, is like I could provide you with connections. I could provide you, and I can't do that very well right now, but I have every intention of growing my network for it. Of like, if you're doing some topic, I could provide you with like, oh, here's people who live in that area where that historic thing, that current event is happening, and they can provide you with the context of what that means for their culture, and they can link you with a historian in the area, and they can link you with an archaeologist in the area, and all this stuff, so that you can have all the connections to get like really real, like raw data that people are not getting just by looking on the internet. Um, so so you can have like some insider information basically. So that's another piece of value I can offer, but it would be an ongoing thing, and I would get better and better offering that over time. Those are the two that come to the top of my mind. But I mean, I'm obsessed with this. I'm always looking to like make amazing, original kind of content and just be a part of it. And I'm sure I'll think of more.
Yeah, aesthetically, I think that's a good idea, but how do you think like this is going to be like right now? You've seen the trends and each and everything, how things are working right now. People want fast-paced content. Like they want, if I give you an example, they want a 1 hour movie in a 10 minutes video. That's what they want
I
right
know what you're
now.
saying. I know what you're saying. But here's the thing: judging it as a okay, people want this. Okay, there will always be a people that don't want it though. There always will be. And it's like, okay, people do want fast-paced content. They want brainless, mindless scrolling. They want it to be quick. They want it to be instantaneous. They don't want to have a second where they're not entertained. And maybe that's like a 2 billion people on the internet want that, and they're all leaning towards that. And anything that's even slower than the last thing they watch, they're not going to watch it. They're just going to scroll to the next thing. Okay, but there's still going to be like 500 million people that want the opposite. 500 million people is plenty good of an audience. I tell people all the time, the 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 only way a musician comes up and is successful without like selling their soul to a record label who will like force them to be successful, the only way a musician comes up is not if they like copy the trends, is if they do the opposite. You'll never like capture the audience of like a Taylor Swift or like a Drake and go like, oh, they're doing it and audiences like it, so that must be what works. No, you go to the people that
Yeah,
people are not catering to, that the
yeah,
mainstream audience is not catering to, and you offer mainstream level of quality and commitment and dedication. Not because like the mainstream is like the mainstream is able to offer a solid level of quality to their audience because they're afraid of losing views. But if you're able to offer a good level of quality because you love the content you make, or you love the idea of what it is or whatever, and you want to put that idea out there into the world, and you're able to offer that level of quality, but to the people who are not having that catered to them, and then you use that to transition into making more mainstream content or the mainstream like style once you already have an audience, and like bringing them into it so that way you can maximize views at that point. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. I'm telling you, dude. If you want to pierce it from the start, if you're just starting out, like there's endless. I can send you examples because I'm one of these people. But there's an endless supply of videos online that people watch that get good views, that are like hella long, that are extremely long content. A video just popped up. I'm going through my YouTube feed right now. A video just popped up in my recommended. It's 37 minutes and 4 seconds, and I literally have the urge to add it to my watch later. Like, these are the kinds of videos that I personally watch. Okay, a summoning salt video just showed up, 1 hour and 30 minutes. Another one just showed up, How Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes Redefines the Franchise by FilmSpeak 3 days ago, 30 minutes long. Like, this is, there is an audience for this. So saying, okay, people want fast-paced content. I get what you're saying, and it's true, but it's not productive in terms of deciding what content you want to make. There's an audience for everything. Any kind of content you think you can make, if you personally think, okay, this would be good content, there's 100 million other people out there that also think it would be good content. It's just a matter of marketing well to them. And
yeah. There's
in my opinion, I think it would be a lot harder to compete with the endless like flow of all these people making short form content, all these people making like AI generated content at this point.
yeah.
Like, bro, go on any of these Discord servers. You're in a couple with me. If I go to your profile, you're in two mutual servers. You're in YouTubers, right? bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you look in
I just
YouTubers, you look in
yeah,
like seeking collabs, or you look in like watch videos, bro. It's just endless like uh um short form, or not even short form, but like long form content in the format of short form. It just doesn't end. It does not end at all. People making the same sort of gaming videos, people making the same sort of, hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna be doing the Mr. Beastification of YouTube. Like
yeah, yeah.
everyone, this is the trap that people fall into. And you sound clever enough to see through this, where it's like the same sort of trap that people fall into in a culture. Like if I were to give an example, around me, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's got the most dense population of black people in the United States by far. And
Like you
the
live
way
there?
that like wait, what?
Really live there?
Yeah, I really live here, yeah. And um it's literally the way that people are manipulated by culture and by labels is so blatantly obvious. It's like just because people look at Mr. Beast as being successful doesn't make him the formula for success.
Yeah, exactly.
People can evaluate what the formula of success is and then look at Mr. Beast as an option, but without if people don't evaluate what the formula for success is just raw on its own without looking at other content, but just by looking in their own minds, if people don't do that, the only reference point they will have for success is the most successful examples. And then I look around me and it's like, bro, the only examples that like normie NPC black people who like are like, oh, I'm a victim, the only example they have for people who are successful in their community are people who spend all their money on shoes and chains and expensive cars and all that stuff. And I'm like, bro, why are y'all falling into this trap? Don't look at other people that are successful. Think to your like meditate on what could make you successful, you know? And if people did that, they'd realize like, bro, Mr. Beast is small. He's one small piece of this massive, like endless game where even he's never gonna be satisfied with how many views he has.
Yeah.
Like but people they don't think about it. They go online, they go, okay, I'm going to these servers, I'm talking to these people. Oh, let me see what collabs people have. And every collab that people post on this YouTuber server is like, oh, I want to make a group like Mr. Beast. And then they go online, they look at whatever views get the most pop, like whatever views pop off, and it's either Mr. Beast or Mr. Beast clones, because that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for content they actually enjoy. They're looking to study and analyze whatever content is successful. So of course they're going to be stuck in the trap of only seeing that, and then they're going to think to themselves, "Ah, this is the only way." And if they like think, they'll like if you ask them, they'll go logically, yeah, it's obviously not the only way. That doesn't stop their mindset from thinking it's the only way. So like, don't fall into that trap, dude. Don't fall into the trap of going like, people
No, I
want
don't.
this, so therefore this is the way to make content. People want it, and yeah, it's relevant in like a cultural discussion or like a political discussion of like, damn, this is where the world is going. But it's not productive when talking about content. You can make any kind of content you want, and as long as you make it good quality and you promote it properly, maybe in some industries it'll be a little trickier to promote, but as long as you find clever ways to promote it, just as clever as how you're making the video, dude, you can run up 10, 20, 30 million view videos in any niche of any video format. It's honestly better to create something totally new than that you think will work, that you go like, dude, why hasn't anyone done this? Those are the really good ideas, the ideas that are obvious to you, that are like, yo, it's crazy that no one has done this. The those are the actual good video ideas. The ideas that you look at and you go like, this would be good on a Mr. Beast type channel, or this would be good on this person's type channel because they get a lot of views. Those are not good ideas, bro. Those are not good ideas. They're ideas that seem good, but again, it's just a trap.
Well, there is a fact that I know who Mr. Beast is, but I've never ever watched a fucking single video of him. Like he just comes
Hmm.
on the thumbnails, but I never ever watch his video because I know what shit he does and why people. And it's not like people watch it. It's like the kids and all that community watches that stuff. It's not the people. If you do the analysis, it's not just the people who watch it. It's just the kids and all that stuff because he knows the thing and all those views that you see millions and 55 millions and all that, it is not true. It is not real, basically. It is not real. Like, YouTube is not fair. No one is fair when it comes to, money. If you put money on the table, no matter who's sitting in front of you, unless that person has morals, uh, you know, he's not going to be fair with that. So all that stuff is not just. It is a marketing strategy to show people like, yeah, whatever the shit he's doing, he has the millions of views, like 50. Like, go watch it. Let's see who, because that's how people watch stuff. That's how people do stuff. Okay, so thing that I was specifically want to talk about is I don't even like to watch and all that stuff. Thing that I pointed out is because that's how people, a majority of the mind and brains are working. So if all of that idea that you really got a whole, mind map in you. So and that's so far that is great and successful. But the thing is, how where's the point if I like merge my mindset, my mind space with your idea? Where's the starting point? How we're gonna start it, and how long it's gonna take to be there, and how
Okay,
it's
well,
gonna
it
be like
depends.
talk about technical things.
It depends on what you mean by be there. So, what's the goal with this? What's the long term goal? Is it just to make a bunch of money, or what exactly are you trying to do?
I specifically, if I be honest with you, um, I've been around uh, in the internet for like 6 or 7 years, and it was like a ghost existence. But I've been there, like I really exist there. I've been talked with big people, small people, all of those people. I've met with these kind of people in my time, and I've dropped my network for a reason, for a personal reason, because I know there's nothing blessed there. I know the fact. I know whatever is ahead of that. That we just think that, hey, if we go at that top of at that top of the building, we're gonna find some. No, there's nothing. It's just people were waiting for you to be either their slaves, either suck their balls or something, or either you can be something useful for them, or they can use you for that. That is the same concept that has been used in Hollywood and all that stuff. And I really didn't used to believe in this thing, but I did once I've met, talked, and discussed and had a little bit of a conversation with these people, and I've read their minds of like what is in just like you have things in your mind, they have stuff in their minds as well. Like think of it, all of those millionaires, all of those money chunky peoples up there, what the hell they were looking for. If you just think about it, like they've got it all. Whatever you just told me, all that map, it requires promotion, making all those labs and whatever is that. It requires money because money runs the world. Okay. They have it all, but just ask yourself what the hell they want now. That's what they are waiting for. To some of us can come up and they can hop on it and they can do whatever. That's what, so they can use that person to drive the trends and to drive the communities to promote the shit they want. Okay, that's what this whole thing works on basically. So my specific goal is not to be there. I will really wish. I'm not just gonna wish because wishing is something that whenever someone tells you to, hey, I wish best for you, they really don't wish for you. It's just they don't want to go there with you. Okay, I'll be there with you as far as you want me to be with you for whatever you're gonna do ahead of that. But I think my concerns are my limit. It's not gonna be a limit, or how should I put it? Like I'll I don't have specifically similar goals like you, like the things that you want to do. I'm I've been to that specifically because I've seen realities and all that stuff. What is ahead of it? Reason that I'm not stopping you is because I'll be with you throughout the whole time. If I'm alive, if I've stood alive and all that stuff, if we've uh, stood with each other and all that stuff, I'll be with you to tell you what to do, what not to do in your own way. But specifically, I don't want to go there because I've been to there. I'm just going to stay with some other stuff that I really need to take care of. And that requires some amount of money. I don't want money. I'm not a money hungry man. I'm a really simple person who lives a life like lives his life like simple. But the things that I've done and all that stuff, it really, triggered a lot of things inside of my mind. That's why I
You don't
have
gotta,
this.
bro. You don't gotta try to like tell me. You don't gotta try to explain to me that you're not greedy, but you need money for certain things. If you have goals to like to do something and you want to
Those.
stay anonymous and all that stuff, I totally get it. But
No,
you
no,
gotta
no,
no.
no.
Maybe not anonymous. Maybe anonymous is the wrong word. But you wanna be secure in like in a world full of sinners, or whatever, however you want to describe it. Like
Uh,
how like but the
it's like
but
only
make
I.
it clear to me like what the goal is. If the goal is money, okay, how much money do you think you would need, like monthly and that kind of thing? Like, at what point are you like, okay, I can achieve my goals? You don't have to tell me what your goals are or anything, but like, what do you need for it?
Yeah, of course, um, to run them up. Of course, money is kind of like a fuel to the world in those specific ways. And yeah, those things really require money for that. And I think if you just talk to it monthly, if I'll be getting um, like what specifically are you talking about? As a whole or as a what? What money like? Whatever.
I'm wondering what you're going for. I'm wondering, like like
Look, I've had these specific. You can make them goals, but I've can say there are reasons for me to 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 do that or to be that. I'm not making it personal or I'm not securing that, but this is something that no one understands specifically. So
okay,
that's why I just keep it under the hood. I'm not saying that you cannot understand that, but it's your mindset is
that's
way
fine.
ahead of
That's fine. That's fine.
that stuff. I'm not
That's
saying
fine.
that,
But you got to
but
give me some sort of understanding as to like what you're going for. Like are you trying to raise a whole bunch of capital, or are you trying to like get like 20 grand a month in passive income, or like or is the goal not money? Is the goal to have an influential channel where you can put ideas out there and then shift paradigms and things like that, and make it trend and make people talk about it? Like, what's the goal here? Like, give me a vision as to what you want it to look like.
uh, from your point of view, I think it's going to be the third one that you just talked about, and it's
Okay.
going to be the other one. Like, it's not that I want. There's two things. Either you want money, and you need money. There's two things here. If you want money, like if you want to have a BMW ride in your garage, I just want to. I always just like BMW because I want to have one in my garage and I want to ride and all that stuff. That's where you want money. But when you need something to be done, and you see see that, yeah, that's a fact that this thing can be done is because it requires certain amount of money to get it done.
I get
That's
that.
what
I
I'm
get
looking
that. You
for.
don't have to give me any
Making-
more details if you don't want to.
yeah,
But
but I don't want money. I just need it.
okay,
That's all.
okay.
That's my goal. But your goals are good, but I've been to that world a long time ago, and there is a kind of a personal thing that I've dropped my network. But I had
Okay.
people, I had
I
connections and
think
all.
I think I can do it. I think I can do it. I think I can dive into the vile corruption of Hollywood And believe me, dude, I am if I ever went to a therapist, they'd call me a paranoid schizophrenic and I'd be put in a mental asylum. But I think I can pierce that and leave it better than how I found it. I think I can rid the world of some of its corruption personally, or die trying. You know?
Yeah. If you build a base as solid as for that thing, because
Yeah.
that really
Well,
matters.
I
Base
think I
matters.
think I I can do it, but I'm gonna do it on the side, low key. But I'm gonna keep my normal
Yeah.
identity out there in the open, like,
Yeah.
and whatever I do publicly, I'm gonna do completely publicly for everyone to see.
Yeah. But the
But
real goal, should be to whatever community you're going to have, and you want them to be with you. Just try to put that all of that in their minds through their heart, not like directly in their minds, because heart is something that needs to be changed in order to go for something like that,
I agree. I
to
agree.
fight for something. Yeah.
That's also part of the reason why I think like choosing to make the kind of content you want to make would be better than going for like going for just making content that people like a bunch of people will click on it or will get the most views or whatever, because in that way you are influencing a community to consume better content, and the better and better the consumers, the more it will demand from the creators.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if growth is what's needed to get to the point where you want where you can achieve your goals, then like you got to give me some kind of a scale or some kind of a metric or something. Like, okay, I want to have like 1 million subscribers in 3 years or something like that. You got to give me some understanding as to like what you actually want out of this specifically.
Out of this work, basically, first thing is, uh, um, it's just we cannot just predict that at the moment, because it just depends on our work. The more we you know put into it, the more it's gonna be that like the more it's going to be boomed out there. We cannot just predict it like, "Yeah, I want that in through this year, and it will be in that
You don't
year."
have to predict it,
'Cause
but what do you
you can,
want? What's the
out of this
ideal scenario?
for this content,
Yeah, yeah.
is the main idea behind this is to, it's just like I told you, we have to talk about things that are running, and the problems that are running right now in the society. Everything, like, if there's if people are more connected with the internet, they're getting more addicted to this shit content and all that. That's a problem. Okay, that's a red flag. And to put that down, we have to first tell them, deliver them a message through our content. Hey, this is not good, and this is not something they should do, by exposing and highlighting the reality behind it. People always see that one side of the coin. They never flip the coin because they're more so distracted, and they're so like pleased with this side of the coin. So we have to turn the coin for them and tell them, hey, there's the other side of the coin that is like hidden from you. Now, first, when you do that, you grow up a community that trusts your content, not just there to be entertained. Like, it's good guy is gonna upload the video. I'm so sad right now. I'm gonna be entertained. I'm gonna be laughing. No, there's something that'll be e- like evoking their moral code. If they have one insight, if they don't have any code, any morals, any nothing, then you cannot wake them up. If they have it, but it's just shadowed by this kind of a whatever is going on right now in the world. Every single problem is someone is suffering from any disease, PTSD, acceptance, and all that stuff. We can just create and show them the reality and acceptance and the alteration of that, like how you can just go on with that instead of just stopping there and being some bad guy to take the revenge or whatever.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
content.
I get all that. I get all that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love the concept. And it's something I'm passionate about as well. And I would love to actually help out on if we were to make a video on that,
Sure.
or multiple. But here's the thing: you, what is in it for you? Like, what do you personally, as a human being, as a flawed human being like the rest of us, what do you want out of it? Because you can't deny that you don't want anything out of it. You can't, like, everyone wants
Sure.
something out of it, and if you are a person prideful enough to go like, okay, no, it's completely selfless, and I don't want anything
No,
in
no.
particular. I'm not looking for any kind of compensation or whatever. If you're that
There's
type of person to
always
deny that kind of thing, then
no.
you end up being the person to, once you take the people who have a good moral compass and you instill some trust in them, you
Yeah.
end up being the person to then corrupt them, and you be the very thing that
Exactly.
they thought that they were trying to avoid. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
you have to, you like,
first
even though you
thing that
may not want to reveal anything about yourself, and I get it, cybersecurity, any person I
no,
know, any person I know who is into
it's not
tech
very
at
good
all,
cyber.
any person I know who is even into tech even a
No.
little bit is like, yeah, no Nest lock, no smart home fridge, no smart whatever. They're all, bro, I get
No,
it.
no,
The most
no.
intelligent
It's
people I know keep things under wraps. But just from a moral perspective going forward, you got to be clear as to like what you want out of this. What are you getting
okay.
out of this?
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna tell you that first of all. The recently the things that I've told you that what I want, that what I need out of it, out of the business, right?
Hmm.
That's just I told you. Now from this concept and whatever we're trying to make, look, there's always have to be, as long as this world is circling around on its axis, as long as the creator is there, as long as the grass is there has to be something, you know, there's always this fight of good and bad going on in the world, okay?
Okay.
And sometimes this badness takes over the goodness and we see shit like whatever happens. And sometimes it never happened basically that at any time that the goodness takes over the badness, but it always happens underneath. Like if something bad happens outside in the world, it happens openly to to threat or to become
Hmm.
a
I
like
agree.
a
I agree. Yeah.
yeah. And whatever goodness happens, it just happens underneath.
Yeah.
But it has an effect that really keeps that balance covered. Because if one thing taken over the other entirely, takes over the other thing entirely, the world is going to end. That's the end, basically.
Hmm.
Okay. And and the goodness cannot just take over bad, because otherwise that's going to be, there will be no test for us. If, are you Muslim?
I was born Muslim,
Okay.
and I love the ideas. A lot of the ideas. Of course, I've sure I'm Muslim in a way. Yeah.
No, if you can go specific if you want to, I understand that. What is that?
Um.
I'd like to know.
There's a lot of beauty and a lot of depth and a lot of like like this is truer than true. This truth goes beyond any truth of the objective world that we see with our own eyes kind of true. I see that in a lot of religious texts, not only in Islam but in Christianity as well, and also in a lot of stories in general, in a lot of historical, like deep philosophical things and all that stuff. I take wisdom from wherever I can, but I don't. I don't give zakath. I don't like pray. I rarely pray. I rarely do, but I don't
Okay.
do any of that stuff. I don't follow any traditions of any religion, but
Okay.
I do have beliefs,
Respect.
and if I speak to a Islamic religious scholar, man, we would talk for 100 hours.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So the thing that I was talking about is to, at least at the end of the day, we all have to die. So why not we just die, ended up creating something that can, evoke people's mind and hearts, even if it's like 100 out of 1,000 people, those 100 people are going to be successful. Do you, believe in hereafter? If I just specifically talk
Sure.
hereafter,
Hereafter, as in an afterlife?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
kind of
sure.
like the day of resurrection and all that.
Um, Somewhat. Yeah.
So what is that? What is the thing that keeps you not to, get into it totally? Like, why don't you just? What is that? Like you see all around your world that there's a lot of things that are happening they're like unjustly happening. There's like a lot of unjust all around you, and people die without being justified, and there's a lot of unfairness.
Because
There's
it's not my place to look at a situation and determine if it's good or bad or not. No one no one but God or Allah. No one but Allah knows if any, like, I've not only seen, like, it literally wasn't even that long ago where I saw someone who was trying to be altruistic, truly good hearted, truly, like, with all, like, they genuinely had good intentions, and with all their heart they tried to help someone, give them money, get them off their feet. They were immigrant here in the United States. They tried to help them out, they tried to get them money, and literally after like 5 or so years, it ended up literally ruining their life. Those exact events to help them make money and grow in America and all this stuff literally ended up ruining their life. It ruined their family relationship. Their family got separated. Like, it was it was an insane thing to see. It was humbling, and it just reaffirmed the same kind of lessons that people learn in like religious education class, which is like, none of us are truly in control of all the deep unknowns of the world, and none of us know just how far they go down and how far they pierce into our
exactly.
own lives. It's not up to me to look at a situation and go like, this is good for humanity, this is bad for humanity. Someone could kill someone, but that person might be the next giant mass murderer.
Yeah,
So I, but again, I'm human. I've been given an intellect by nature. I have free will, and I have it for a reason. But I'm gonna be very, very cautious, extremely cautious, when going in and trying to make a determination as to whether or not something is just or not. I'm gonna be a lot more skeptical than just to assume that, okay, I know what's going on and this is an injustice and I see it and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to be a lot more reserved than that, just from personal experience. I'm just like everyone else. I'm just another person, just like everyone else. I'm just operating off of personal experience, just what I see.
yeah, yeah. I totally understand that. So basically, the thing was, totally agreed upon your points that you just made, but the question was that, what are you going to take away? Is, of course, instead of making something that you, at the end of the day, go inside of a corner with a handful of money and laugh out of it. Yeah, I've made some money because of that shit post. People watched it. I've made a fool of them. Instead, at the end of the day, you post, you create something that is
Oh, I thought you were
useful.
asking why I don't dive fully into it. Like, why I have like reservations with like belief and things like that. I thought that's what you were asking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like, why don't you have that one distinction into it?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, rephrase the question, or like, be a little more specific. I don't understand the question.
Like, you've just told me that you're born Muslim. That, tells me that you're from a family that was Muslim,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
If that family's still alive, they are Muslims, right?
they are.
Okay, and they totally follow and obey what are the what are whatever's that
Mm,
practices and all that. Okay, they do it
my
what you.
family, they drink, get tattooed, they sin a lot, a lot. I mean, aside from like the basic like, oh, why can we not get tattoos? Why can we not eat pork? Aside from all like
Okay,
the basic frivolous things, man, it's a lot of sin and a lot of pride and a lot of how would I describe it? Like dismissal, dismissal of like of reality. A lot like
yeah,
a lot of people in my family will like they'll do things that go against the religion. They'll do things that go against basic human morality that should apply even before Islam was even a thing. And they'll claim to be Muslim when it's convenient to them. But by the way, we're not we're Shia Muslims, so
okay, okay, I understand that.
we're not even like real
I understand
Muslims.
that.
But
I got it.
so you can imagine Shia, and it's not even, dude, it's Shia, Imami, Ismaili, Nizari, like broken off into like a bunch of sects.
Yeah,
They don't teach us the Quran. They don't teach us the Quran. They don't teach us
exactly.
the majority of the things that happen in it. And they try to be very progressive, very American. This is probably the most Americanized sect of Islam out there ever. And so it's like, and I'll ask like family members. I'll be like, have you ever questioned religion? People over 18 years old, by the way. I'm like, have you ever questioned religion? And they go, no, not really. But then they'll go out, smoke, drink, party, do all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is just inhuman behavior then. Like if you don't want to follow the religion, or if you what you say is different from the way that you act, then at least have the humanity to come clean and go, okay, you know what, I don't believe in it, or you know what, I don't believe in these things, or you know what, I'm going to question it, or these things don't make sense. At least have the face to say that to your parents or the people around you, to go like, this thing doesn't make sense and I'm not going to follow it. But it's NPC behavior when people just like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's NPC behavior when people are like, oh, I'm Muslim, I never question my religion, yet they do everything to go against it.
yeah. So I want you to just, not right now, but I know you know this, but I want you to look into your heart and what do you come up with? Like, I don't want you to be like specific to it, but what do you come up with? Like, hey, that's what I have solid in me that
Okay.
these other hypocrites don't have.
um
Something that
honestly,
if God,
honestly,
something
dude,
if the
I
like,
feel lucky.
yeah,
I feel lucky. I feel lucky because I feel like I'm no chosen one, dude. I'm no I'm an NPC like the rest of them. I'm and I will concede that there are people that are beyond that. There are people that like have a soul, or like a stronger soul, or whatever. But my everything I know about my education and my worldview and my understanding of my higher level of conscious awareness than the other people around me, it came because of things that happened in my life that I did not have any control over. So I'm literally just like the rest of them, dude. I just got lucky.
in which way specifically?
Um, the details aren't all that important. Um, but like, there's nothing that I look at in my heart and I'm like, okay, I know this to be true, regardless of what other people tell me. I'm a product of my environment too. I mean, there's the very like clear, I think therefore I am, but that doesn't even come from Islam. Um, and but there's also like ideas that I have, which, but they're like an idea I have, honestly, and this might turn out to be a red flag, honestly. But I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. It's just an idea that's in my head, and my ideas are always churning. They're always they seem to have merit one day, and then the next day they have no merit at all. And I'm like, man, this is stupid. Why did I even think about this idea? And like one of the ideas I've been thinking about is like, okay, Islam and Christianity seem to have literally equal amount of merit. They're saying the exact opposite things. One of them is saying one of them is saying you're born a sinner and you have the opportunity to become good, and the other one is saying you are born good and you become corrupted, and you need to fight the devil and fight the evil from corrupting you. They're both really saying the exact opposite thing, but they're both equally correct, and that's a thought that I've been having lately. But on a different day, I'm sure I'll look at that and I'll go like, yeah, no, I'm completely wrong. So I don't have any core ideas, beliefs, or whatever that I hold to my heart that I'm like, this I know to be sure. I'm nobody, dude. I'm nothing. I'm just another. I'm like I have the. I'm still searching for my soul. I'm searching for my soul, and I'm just figuring things out as I go. And there's nothing that I hold concrete in my heart yet.
Okay, so far, I tell you my background. I was born Muslim as well, in a Muslim family. But the thing is that I was like not really like until I was like 14, 15, I was like living like a normal person, was not big of a sinner or something. I was just living like how the parents told me to be, like in that specific manner. And that was like, if I think about that point from this timeline, it was okay. It was normal. It was not some big of a deal. But after that, I started to ask myself some questions about these specific things and why they happen and why all that stuff. So at 2018, I think, like when I was 16 or 17 years old, I did research in theology. Theology
Hmm.
is basically religious studies, and I chose one instead of going into the others. I've chose this Quran for that,
Okay.
Islam. So I've did my research on it. I've studied that. I've did each and everything that I could at the time with the sources and stuff that I have. And one thing is that I've never, I didn't, go to anyone to teach me that. Hey, teach me, go, because I knew at that time people have this sects that you just talked about, sects, not sex,
Yeah, I know.
sects
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
just talked about, Shias, and there's like more than that. Like, what is that? You have Sunnis, you have Ahl Hadith, you have, more than that. There's a lot of that stuff. So that's what they call a firqa. That's
yeah,
what they call it. So basically, when I saw that, and all uh, these muftis and molvis on their whatever they sit on, speaking about something that like they're really speaking about something like they're running a news channel for that. Like there's nothing that is being talked about at the Jummah that is like that can like enlighten someone, any Muslim from inside. There's nothing like they just talk about their own shit. So that's why I just stayed away from that, and I did my own research and all that stuff. So the things that I've came up with in a very recent amount of time is I really got connected with the realities and things like that. And this is something that I don't know, I don't regret it, but this is something that is like that has made my heart, it's like kind of like it unlocked my heart to the reality, and then I had nothing else but to accept stuff, even if it's like the filthiest and the most evilish thing that you can
yeah,
think.
yeah,
I've been through that, and at the same time, I was, socially networking to the social media and all that stuff. How the internet is working, I had different connections, so that was something that I was having realistically instead of just sitting somewhere reading a book and imagining stuff like that. Whatever the book is telling me, I'm imagining that. Oh yeah, okay, wait, this, that. No, I was really watching those real time examples around the world by sitting in one place. That was the network that I had that was talked about because I had the connections back then. But uh, then, this whole concept of God, Allah, it's the same thing basically. Your creator, I always say this word, one word, the creator, the one who created everything. It really wants you to, you know, uh, see the world from his eyes. That's what I've experienced. he wanted me to somehow, when I, that's what he, in the Quran, it's written. If you take 2 steps towards him, he's gonna come 6 steps towards you. I think you've heard that or read that. I
No,
don't
I
know.
haven't. I haven't.
Okay,
I'm
so
very
that's what it
uneducated on
is.
this stuff. I'm very uneducated.
Okay, so that's what it is. But when I went there, like, I've had this one thing in my mind, like, if he gives us to eat without, without snatching it from someone else, or without uh, taking it out from someone else's stomach to us, if he's giving it to you, like, straight away, why don't you go to him and find him on your own? So that's the thing that I did, instead of going for some teacher or somewhere to tell me. I did my own thing. But the things that I've encountered and come across, they were like shit ton of realities that I've seen. I've entirely, that's the reason I told you that I don't have any goals right now for the future. I just have a life that I'm living. I've had something, and this life that I live personally, it feels like I've lived it from its end. Like because once you know the whole path, once, like, if you're right now in whatever you're living, if there is a footpath, if there is a street going on, and once you know that, what is, like, when you go through that street, what is outside of that street, what's going to come up, you don't really need to go there, because you know it, you've lived it, you've experienced it. Okay, that's what I live like. It's like this life feels like, yeah, you're aware of the realities and all that. And just like you, I've tried in my life to, you know, make people aware of stuff, to make people aware of the reality, not from the Quranic perspective, not from the Islamic perspective. I've just tried to enlighten that one morale that is inside of them, because I cannot feed someone from this book. I cannot just take the Quran and feed someone with, hey, just read it, read it, read it. I cannot do it unless their heart, tries to go there itself and accepts it. I can't do that. All I can do is I can make them aware. I can take them out of the distractions that they're in right now, and just give them an idle space to think that, yeah, this is not the world, this is not how the world is going on. This is all this distraction and all that stuff that I'm stuck in, and I'm in that food chain. So that's where your brain starts to get, that your heart just gets disconnected from that distraction, because that's where your heart leads you to. You listen to your heart, and that's why you go there. And then your brain gets that disconnection from your heart, and then it thinks in that specific way, that, yeah, there is more than that. But as far as I've seen people, they're really not really ready to change themselves. For them, changing themselves and coming towards a life like this is like, it's like they don't want to. It's like they're corrupted from inside. They don't want to change. As far as I've seen, I still see people that are like new and fresh, and I have this hope in my mind that I just don't want them to be in the same food chain as the others ones are. I really like to and want to guide them about life, but it's just depends on them, what they do and what they decide to do. But if you give them a solid, kind of like a, you know, it's not just advice, but if you give them a solid reason to live and to stick by it, and tell them how to stick by it, I think that's where they're going to be taking the decisions, because your whole life is just based on your decisions, either the decisions you make towards sins, whatever, they come up with their own circumstances and they change you according to that. That's where your heart gets changes. The more sins you do, the more blocked your heart becomes towards the reality and the goodness. You hate goodness for that. You say, whatever I don't want to be that." That's what happens at the end. So I always think that, yeah, there is all the time, there is a there are people that are still, you know, in this world, they still need this assistance. They need the guidance to change their lives and to be something, to at least to us, to um make themselves stand on a spot in which they know where they're standing right now. If I'm a sinner, and if I'm aware of the realities right now, I know where I'm standing. even if it's good or bad, even if it's red or green, I know where I'm standing. If I'm not a sinner, if I'm just a good guy, a good person, I don't do sins, but I don't follow any religion and all that stuff, then where am I standing? Like, okay, I'm just not doing sins, but what is the moral? What is the purpose of my life? What the hell am I here to do? Okay, there could be someone else came out of the mother's womb instead of me, but why the hell am I here? What is the main purpose? And all that stuff. So all these questions, you find the answers once you give yourself, once you stop listening to your heart, and you give yourself a time, and you have kind of like a magnifying glass to look this world from. I had this magnifying glass in my hands when I had the Quran, when I researched on that. And I've got the other religions concept like Hinduism, Christianity, and there are and Judaism, all that concepts cleared from that one book because it cleared and answered all of that stuff. For me, I didn't have to really go into that kind of a thing because it really cleared up the concept for me as well. So that's where I've accepted, and it's not like I chose the religion. Okay, now I'm Muslim. Now I'm this. I don't call myself a Muslim. Muslim is just a word that you use to to make yourself distinctive than the other religions. Okay, you're Muslim. Okay, this is Muslim. That's a Hindu. That's Jewish. That's who. That's who. That's all. It's just a name and label that you stick on you. It is not what Quran says that you call yourself that. You do. It is just about you learn from it and then live your life according to this guide, according to that. That's how you can live what is success at the end of the day? If you call what success Quran Islam calls out and tells you, what is that success? There are two successes for that. One success is when you will be resurrected, and we'll talk about that concept later on someday. That's a lengthy concept part. And then another success. It's called peace. Okay, it's like sukoon if you've ever heard that word, but
Yeah.
in English it's called peace. And right now, if you just think all of this, whatever you just told me that, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, this, that. At a certain point of that building, when you'll be standing over there, you'll have something in your heart. You'll feel something inside of you. That is peace. That is not success. What is success? If you run a business right now, okay, if you run a business, you earn a shit ton of money, then what is that money? Are you gonna eat that money? Eat that paper? Eat that cash? No, you're gonna spend that money to have this, that, to please your heart, to please your family, to please your kids and whatever. And then when they will be smiling at you, oh yeah, our dad or whoever bought us this, and you feel like I'm someone, I'm something. No, you're not. You're being liked because you can buy them the shit they want. They don't like you to just take it away from them. You're unliked person. There's no one's gonna stay or sit by you just to talk to you. This is
Do
not
you
peace.
do you think it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
do you think it's a sin to want
What?
more from life other than just to not be a sinner?
I think there is no. I think there is balance. It's like there's everything in the world out there. It's like I create something, okay, and any kind of a creation. If I were to be a god, let's say, I create something and I create it from the concept, like, even if I know it's not perfect, it's not something that I should make, but there's something that I know about that. I'm gonna make that, create that. I'm gonna breath my. That's what in Quran that is stated. Like when God created humans, He created them like in this world. I'll tell you that for later on, the way He created us, and then He breathed His spirits in us. It is like kind of your himself. He breathed it. It's not like he created himself again and he pushed it inside of you. He breathed it. When you breathe, if I breathe something inside of you, it's my breath that I'm gonna breathe inside of you. It's my part. It's my thing. Okay. So That when this happens, if it's like I restrict and limit myself first. I'm God, I can do whatever I want. Here I put myself into this creation that I'm making, and then I'm gonna put him into this world of the world we live in. Then I'm gonna throw each and everything on him, and then I'm gonna make a thing. It's called heart, and I'm gonna feed that with whatever stuff I've just thrown inside of the world, and then I'm gonna give him the guide. Hey, to go for buy this, don't have this. I know you like it. I know you like a drink. I knew you like to have that. You have that, but there has to be always that balance to keep for your heart. I'm not saying to just limit yourself for the things out there, but for your heart, because the more you go with there, the more you go for them, it's kind of like the less you're going to be like it's going to be less your life is going to be less meaningful than there's no end for that. Like if I want a BMW right now, I'm gonna go out and work for him. That's what I want. Okay, I'm gonna go out, work for it. I won't care whoever's right. Fuck, I don't give a shit that. I'm just gonna go out, earn it, burn it, do it all. Then I'm gonna buy that car. Then I'm gonna have it in my garage. And after driving 9 to 6, 9 to 12 in that burn that engine, after all that stuff, what is the main purpose I had it? Like, what is it? At the end of the day, you're gonna be like thinking of, okay, I did, I have it, I have it. You're gonna count that down in your book. I had a BMW I just sold. What is the purpose of that? Then if someone comes up, hey, why do you have to think like you need a purpose for that? You have a specific time that's not going to be come again. A moment that you just lived, it's not going to be repeat itself. That's it. You've just lived it. All you can take away from that is what you did in that moment. Have you just enjoyed your life? Have you just what you did, like what was that? That the question, if ask yourself, what did I do? If I ate food, I know the reason that I ate food. Of course, it grows me up. It's healthier. It's gonna make me this. It's gonna make me that. Oh yeah. Or all right. It's all that intentional stuff. Okay, that's okay. That's good. That's something. That's a reason that you did it for. That's a true reason. You should go for that more. But just to go out and buy a product like Viagra to eat and just to intentionize that I can grow my dick that large and I can fuck girls, fuck bad bitches and all that. What is that intention is for? What is still that person wants something to have, even if it's satisfaction from anyone's whole, but it's something he wants. That's where God has created this guide to keep your life balanced. He knows this reality that whatever the creation I'm creating, it's not going to obey that. He knows this fact. He knows this. Whoever is being born, they're not going to obey him. A lot of people don't even know him. Like, he feeds them, he gives them each and everything, and it is all logical in front of them. There is no like concept of like, oh, how it happens. It happens out of the blue. It happens like in disappearance, whatever. No, they know each and everything. Everything is happening in front of you. And where does it all comes from? Where does it all gets created? So then why if they're still unobeying them? Then if you think like, hey, if there's all these people doing sins and no one is stopping them from it, if all of these people is doing whatever they want, sinning, fucking, doing whatever they want, gambling around and all that stuff, and if I'm here sitting on my ass, if I'm just going out doing kindness, good kindness, I'm helping out people, I'm doing this, I'm doing the hard shit, they're enjoying their lives and I'm doing this, then what's the purpose? What is this distinction for? What am I going to do with all that? Cool. That's where the concept of day of resurrection comes in. Okay, if someone is doing something, he's going to be accountable for that and he will be asked for that. Okay, if you go out and ask him why he's doing that, he's gonna say, it's my life, I'll do it. You who the hell are you? But when the one who created them will ask himself the same question with all the exact realities and all that stuff, when everything will be in front of them truthfully, then answering this question will be something they will hesitate towards. That's where that's where these dots connect to each other. So yeah, because
Okay.
this is a lengthy topic. I really want to talk about this more, but
Of
it's a
course, me too.
huge
Me
lengthy
too.
topic.
Hey, and
It's a lengthy
and
topic.
now you're in the server, dude. I want to learn about the Quran, bro. We'll have time. We'll have plenty of time to talk about every individual little thing.
Sure, sure. I'm ready to teach. I've been teaching like after I did my theology and philosophy research. I've been a theology teacher for 7 months. I've taught it online, and I've did this academic like in my home. But that is something that I mentioned in the start, that whoever I taught it to, I was not. I've never, told them that I'm a teacher of you. I just told them I'm gonna be grabbing your hand throughout the whole way. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. After that, it's up to you to follow it or not. It's up to you to pray. It's up to you to fast. It's up to you to go it. I'm not gonna ask you one single time that do this, do that, do this, and then the God is going to open His gates to you and whatever is that. I never told that to anyone. It's your heart. It comes to, because at the end of the day, God never forces. He gives out enormously. Like you can see all those sinners eating, drinking, whatever they want to do, and they're still alive. He gives out, but He never forces anyone to follow Him. He wants you to he wants you to do it by your own heart. So when there's people doing sins outside, doing whatever they want, you know that there's something inside of their hearts. They're not going to tell you that, even if you ask and urge them. And there is something inside of their heart that they're ignoring, and they're not telling it to you. They're ignoring that fact. They don't tell it to you because, of course, they know they're on the wrong side. If they tell it to you, you're gonna slap them on your face like, "Yeah, that's where you're wrong. You're fucking with your life. You're ignoring the main thing here." And he's gonna be, "Oh, then he will have no other reason to excuse that." That's why people don't tell you why they do it. They just do it. That's the line they will stay. Like, it's my life. You'll fuck yourself. It's my life. That's it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, inside of their hearts, they ignore it all. And that's why God has created this concept of the day of resurrection, when He will ask Himself with all the facts and figures, and you'll have them, with no other option than, try and regret and plead. But then there will be no mercy on them at the end of the day. Because now you're in the world. We have shown you signs and all of that. That's what God says. We've shown you signs. I use word God because God, Allah, it's all the same. The
Hmm.
name,
Yeah.
okay, it's all the same. So He's gonna tell you that shown you all the facts and figures and all that stuff, but you still either ignored it because of the fact your parents and your elders told you to. Because that's why there's a whole history in Quran in which it is clearly written that before, back in the time, like 1400 years before, people were doing whatever their elders told them to do. And whoever came up with the idea and concept of this, to the path to how to live the life, no one ever came up with something like Quran or follow the Quran or pray or something like that. It was the way of life. Now, when you accept that way of life, when you accept that there is a God, there is someone who created us, then there has to be a reason He created you into this world. If I'm going to give you a job for something, there has to be a reason. You're doing the job. You're not sitting in the office doing nothing, and you're getting paid for that. There is a reason for that. And God just asked you to do this, that I can tell you, I can name it, like pray, fast, give out zakat. Then I'm gonna come over to that. I'm not saying that you're doing something wrong. In this whole conversation, I've never even pointed out anything out of you, okay, Ali, talking to
Hmm.
you. I've never even pointed out that you're doing this wrong. You're doing this because there's something you don't know about it. There's something that you can be confused about. But why is that? Why God wants me to pay for someone else? Why God wants me to fast? Why God wants me to pray 5 times a day? Why God wants me to? There are other two pillars of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it's total of five, basically. So why God really wants us to do these things? Like, why? Does He wants us to be His slaves? Does He wants to be us to be, what is this inside of that work? What if we do that? What is inside of this? So each and everything, when I found it, I used to have the same questions to me. When if I went out to ask it to someone, oh, it's a part of a religion. That's what God has told you to do. And when the command has come, you got to follow it. Don't ask further questions. Otherwise, you'll be someone questioning God. No, it's your right to ask. God is there with each and everything. God has given you the brains. He said it himself in the Quran. We have given you eyes, brains, and intellectual, and you will be accountable for them. Clearly, it's written in the Quran in a verse. I don't specifically remember the chapter in which it was, but it's written clearly. You will be accountable for this. And these three things are mentioned: eyes, sight, and hearings, and the intellectuals. Because whatever you see, whatever you hear, it just goes straight into your brain. That's where it gets that imaginary concept and thing. And then your heart, that is of course connected to your brain, gets it into his own way. Either it's for pleasures or wants. Your brain, your heart never imagines stuff. It's for your brain. But your heart just tells you to go with it, to go towards it. It creates that sensation inside of you that yeah, you should go for this, you should go for that. If you want to eat ice cream right now, let's say, it's not that your brain is telling you to go out and eat the ice cream. It's your heart who wants the ice cream, not your stomach. Stomach is something else. When stomach will want it, it means it needs it. And that feeling will be different than wanting something. That's where you need something, when your stomach wants it. But when you just want to have it, I want to have that chocolate ice cream, I want to have that strawberry ice cream, just because I want to have it, it's your heart. And then it tells it to your brain. Your brain just calculates and does this whole planning. You're gonna take on your shoes, you're gonna go to that market, to that ice cream seller, and then that's how you're gonna talk, that's what you're gonna say, that's how you're gonna talk to him, that's how this ice cream costs and all that. The strategy, this your mind creates that, but your heart just calls it out for you, and your brain just follows up for that. So if you ask yourself, what is in your control? Like, is it your heart? Is it your brain? Is it what? What do you control, basically? It is that you have control over both of them once you will once you know the reality, and once you know the world from the magnifier glass, once you see the world from God's eyes, that's when you get the control over both of things. That's where, because other than that, you will be either following your heart and doing the sins or whatever it is. Either you'll be so much cold ass motherfucker to just follow your brain, whatever he says. Okay, don't give a shit about this person. He's needy. He's kind. Let's just give him food. No, just don't give him food. Let him die. Just fuck around. Just that's where you just either you stay on the heart side, either you stay on the brain side, either you just don't follow one of them. You're just tired of your life. You want to die. That's where each and everything, comes down to. That's where people are confused. They don't have that thing. Once when you're ignoring the reality, like, yeah, there is something that I don't want to know. It's where it's something that your heart, your brain is telling you, hey, this is something, but you don't let your heart accept it. You've just you've just thrown your heart in a way, like, whatever you want, I'm gonna go follow that, I'm gonna go do it. And this body of ours is because of the actions that we do. And this world is physical. There's nothing that is like uh working, like, whatever is physical right now, that has a physical existence, that has this space, matter, and time. It, like, whatever is trapped into this kind of a concept, it has its physical existence. And one physical thing only changes or converts or changes its position unless a second physical thing forces it to be. Okay, if a spoon is on the table, the only way it's going to be in someone's mouth is, I'm gonna take it from my physical hands, I'm gonna put it in someone's mouth. That's how the physical world works on. But before this physical world, there is a spiritual world inside of you in which you intentionize stuff. Like that's what you first thought. I want to go out and eat the ice cream. That's your intention is. That's your thought is. That's what you think. That's what where your soul is basically. We'll talk about we'll talk on soul on a different time, but it's something that happens first. It doesn't has to do anything with the real world. It's not going to change anything if you're sitting on one place just thinking of it. You can't do anything. But once you get yourself up and do change this physical world, take out the money, go to shop and buy the ice cream, lick it up, and then eat it up and all that stuff, and then it's gonna turn to shit, and you're gonna take a shit, and then it's gonna go to the toilet and all that. That's where this actual physical world works on. First thing is your intention, then it's your action, then it's the output that happens out there. Now that the ice cream that you've just bought, you've gave him the money, that that is going to affect something. It is never like your con. Even if you touch something, it has a effect on that specific thing. That money is going to be in his pocket. He's going to feed his family. He's going to do whatever he want to do. That's how the whole circle runs on. So at some place at the on the other side of the world, if someone does evil, bad, it has its consequence over the world, but it spreads either it just like if, for example, if you've seen a nuclear bomb dropped on a specific place, it's not going to affect the whole world entirely like the destruction I'm talking about. It's going to it will have its own circle that he will affect destructively, but the consequences, whatever is that happened, will affect the whole world in a way of threat, in a way of horror, in a way of like diseases, in a way of like all that stuff. So everything that you do in this world has a consequence, has an effect. So that's why there are specific ways to live life. When you live life according to those morals, those codes that God has created, then you will end up having the good, peaceful life. That's what matters at the end of the day. All of these celebrities, all that's whatever, whoever is on the top floor, he's there. He wants to have that peace inside of him. He's never going to tell you that. There's a lot, like there's his community, there's his whatever he's doing, all that stuff, whatever he is. It is like he uses them as a barrier to don't let you know that he's even if he has all that shit ton of money, he's still empty inside. He don't want to let you know that. That's the thing. These are the realities I've been through, and there's a whole thing ahead of you. I had it all in my head.
Okay.
I'll share it with you when we'll have time, and if you want to know it.
Yeah, eventually one of these days for sure. Um,
Okay.
because this is the kind
So
of stuff that I'm interested in, and I would actually like to make content about this kind of stuff too. Um,
yeah, sure.
but it's like I said, I'm a student. I'm always going to be a student. Maybe not. I'm always going to be, but that's what it feels like. I've always been a student, and and
Look, everyone is. Don't call yourself a student. Instead, you should call yourself like you're always exploring. You're always exploring this world.
okay, okay,
Whoever is out there, whoever is out there, he's still dumb enough. Like even if he's a philosopher, whoever, Einstein, whatever, he's still dumb. He's still like he doesn't know that depth of the realities. There's another thing I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to make it short. And this is something that I've experienced when I had my network. I've came across to that is when you have some look, knowing things in this world is so much easier than you think. Right now, if you think about a specific field, let's say whatever IT, AI, whatever shit is that, if you want to know that, you will think like there's a whole bunch of stairs that I have to hop on, and then there will be this, and there will be that, and that, and these books, and these researches, and all that stuff I have to go towards, and whatever. No, look, all of those people who came up with things like these, they've never read a fucking book in their entire life. All they did is they, explored the world from the eyes of reality. Each and everything that exists outside the nature and all that stuff. If you just sit there, get yourself out of the distractions, and when you think on that, there's still all those things are alive. They're still at one place. I know it's gonna sound like a little bizarre, but they're still alive. They're just items for you on a grocery store or somewhere else. Is because you're too distracted in the world. You don't look to them in that specific way. They talk, they have an existence, they have a life inside of you. When you eat a fruit, when you eat an apple, you get something from it.
Yeah, I agree. I
Nutrition,
agree.
whatever. It has a life inside of them. There's something that's living inside of it. Yeah, there's a reason. That is the whole reason it exists, to feed you and to get yourself up. But that is what it is. Now, if nutrition is there, a nutritionist is gonna look on that concept like this. Yeah, this thing is this. Apple is here, contains something inside of him. And I
I
want to know
agree
what it is.
that anything that is involved in the cycle of creation and consumption is all alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we want it like people want it like if they like Apple should be like talking to them like he
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
eat and speak. No, it's not gonna, because of course they're too blinded to it. They're more
yeah.
distracted to the world. It's not gonna happen anytime. So
Do you think a lot of people are just blind to it or whatever? Or do you think a lot of people are just being inauthentic just to fit in?
inauthentic, I think.
Yeah,
That's what I've seen
that's what I
so
think.
far. They're inauthentic.
I think people are aware of these things, but they choose to say nothing reasonable because it's crazy to be reasonable in an unreasonable world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have the other stuff for going on, like their ego and shit. That, oh, I don't want to be that or whatever. That's what inside of, like, that's what they're running, and that's why these things are really highlighted in the Quran. You should not have ego. You should not think that you are something. There's always someone created you. He's above you, and that's like in Quran. It is written like all those people who like the, anytime the god talks and says something like in the Quran, he says it like he tells it all that to you from someone's heart. You cannot access someone's heart like this. Even if someone is or just sitting right next to you, you cannot just hack his heart and know whatever he's thinking. But in Quran, that's how God tells it to you. You think like God is talking to you, but no, it is that reality that is being written in that format in which you can understand. And there's a reason that Quran is in Arabic. There is a reason, I'll tell you that someday else, but there's a reason it is like any other book. It is like that. There's a reason for that. It's not like God was sitting up there with a kind of pen and writing all that stuff, or angels were writing all that stuff. No. Angels, what do angels have to do with this physical book, this writing, this Arabic? It's a language. That's it. Before Arabic, there were a lot of other languages, like you can see one in the Bible. There's another. Like there will be. What is a language? Language is just the way people talk to each other, the way they can tell someone about them in a way. Otherwise, what else do you have to tell someone that I am this, I'm that, whatever? It's just a way to communicate. But if something in this is given to you in this format, there's a reason. It's not like the God has there or someone else written that for you or all that stuff. It's a message inside of that word. It is that abstractional message inside of that format in those words that the God wants you to know and explore that in real life. It's not just to read it, keep it in your mind, and that's it. No, and obey. Don't obey anything unreasonably. There will be times when things will open up, but only if you will stay undistracted from the world. If you were distracted in it, nothing was gonna, make sense. Because that's where evil is standing. Evil never wants you to have it. Understand?
Yeah,
So
you have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of wisdom, and Man, we have to talk. We have to talk some more. We have to like stay in this Discord server because
You can
you will
talk.
get value out of it. You will get value out of it eventually, even if you may not see how right now. Also, you got a really cool profile picture too. But
It's an old.
so
So yeah, that's there's a lot to talk about, and I
yeah, there's a
can be
lot.
open about it. But the only fact that I will tell it to you is I want you to, I don't want you, like, it's not like I want specifically want you to be, but at the end of the day, it's from my experience that that's what I told. I've seen people when I used to tell them all that stuff, they would be like, you know, looking out somewhere else, ignoring all that stuff and all that. They wanted something interesting inside of them. They didn't have that, you know, that 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 wisdom, that curiosity about it. They're those are the people who don't want to change. Those are the people who want to be like, yeah,
No,
whatever
but
we are.
that's the thing.
Yeah,
I'm just like them, dude. I'm just like them. I'm literally. It's just a. Everyone has a natural sense of curiosity in them, but everyone also has a natural sense of pain from thinking deeply.
yeah.
And people get conditioned by their environment, by school, by or at least here in the United States by the public school. It's terrible over here, and by social media and by all technology and by all this stuff, they get conditioned to not experience any of that pain, and they become weak. They become mentally weak, and I could have totally been in that position too. I'm no different from them. I ended up getting lucky to be conditioned to have a stronger curiosity than how painful it is for me to, or how uncomfortable it is for me to think deeply about things. But
The one thing I will let you know. Yeah, I totally understand that. But one thing I want you to be aware of is once you are, once you're like aware of stuff, and if something that happens, and if something that is happening, and you know it's bad, and you also know that if you push too much, it's gonna make wrong consequences and all that stuff. If you know it, and that part is going to be painful for you. But it's only gonna happen if you're gonna stick your heart with something like this. Because once your heart is connected with that, whoever, whatever, okay, and that thing is just stiff, it cannot change and it cannot work like this. Even you're aware of that. That's where the pain comes in. So it just it gives you a lot of wisdom. It gives you a lot of like intelligence once you know it, so you can make a good decision in your life. But you have to be like listen to your brain than your heart in this scenario. Otherwise, even if you do something with the right intention, you must accept this. You must accept whatever is going to happen, like in your life, because once you're aware, that's what people, uh, you know, the unmoralistic people, people they don't have the morale. The people they themselves know that, hey, if I've like if there's a person who tells like, if you lock me up with some girl, with some random girl, I'm not even gonna, look at her. Okay, I'll stay constant and I'll don't even look at her. And then there's a person who says, yeah, I can do the same, but then there's a intention that I want that opportunity to do whatever I want to do. If you understand?
yeah,
So that's where these things get the distinction. Those kind of people, they're never going to be changed. They will die like this. That's what God repeatedly told. Like even the prophet that came with all of this, he had his relatives, the people he loved.
well, okay, here's the
Okay,
thing. I have to believe they can be changed. I have to. Just personally, I have to believe they
if
can
you
be
can,
changed
if you
because
can.
because I'm one of those people too. I have a very very tough time overcoming sin. I'm aware of that. And um and I know it's right, and I know what I have to do, and I know I have to overcome it. I know I have no choice basically. and I have every intention of doing that. But I'm not gonna uh, pretend to be any different from the people who have done wrongs in the world, who done things that they themselves know to be evil, truly, truly evil, and still do it anyways. Like I am still,
Yeah.
I'm a sinner, bro. I'm a sinner.
We all we all are sinners. No one is like free.
So
Even the
I
ones
have to
who know
believe,
this.
that even these people, even the people that are the most far gone, still always have a chance of redemption. That they can still that
Exactly.
there is always still an opportunity to turn back to God.
Until they're alive, as long as they're living, there is
Yeah,
always a way. That's why they're alive. Once you're dead, once you know you're gonna die, that's what God told. Once you know that you're gonna die, at that point, if you turn around and say, "Oh God, I'm sorry, I did the sins, forgive me," there is no forgiveness. If you're alive, you don't know when you're gonna die. You're still alive. There's always a chance, but it's just up to you how you change it. Once you know it, once you're near to that death, there's because that's where there's the revelation that you're gonna die now. So what's the other point? What's the other way? Then that and the way God told it in this specific way is because look, when you know, if I just tell you from someone else inside what is running in his heart, like right now, if I'm a sinner, okay, and if I say I'll change, I'll change, I'll change, I'll be good, but then there is a intention in my heart that, okay, when I'll die, let me do my sins right now. I'm happy with my life. I'm doing all these sins and I'm happy with these sins. But when I'll die, I'll just, turn up to God and, ask for that, uh, uh, whatever forgiveness and all that. Then I'll be good. Then ask yourself, is that a legit person? Is that an authentic person that thinks in that way? Ask yourself, is that an authentic person? Is that person who's loyal to God, whoever created him? Like at the end point, he's going to turn, but right now he knows like I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm gonna keep doing this, but when I'll die, I'll just be okay. God, forgive me and all that stuff. Why? That is not the purpose. That is the thing. We all are sinners. Even I'm being that aware of it. I'm not big of a sinner. Like I don't do big sins, but that's the whole thing. You have to fight for that every day, every single day you wake up. You have to fight for the bad. Everything is gonna happen in your life. Bad choices will come along with the good ones. Good ones will look harsher. Good ones will appear more like, okay, it's a risky thing. But that step, once you take it, it's gonna lead you to somewhere you were not aware of. Because life is unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. It's just your plans you make according to the present. Okay, it's like you make your future by living in your presence. Right now, if I think something like in the future, just like we've talked about stuff, and it's right now it just never exists. It is just in our minds. If you want to make it exist, you have to do something in your present. Your present is gonna make that. It's like your present is making your future at the same time. If you think like these three timelines are separate, like your past, your present, your future, they're not separate. Your present is making your past, and your present is making your future at the same time. Whatever goes off, it is your past. Whatever you do, if I let's say if I fuck a girl, right? Sorry, I use these lame examples. I'm sorry, but there's a reason I use these examples because these things are the reason I use these kind of examples is because these things are like our brains are right now in this condition, like our brains are fed like that. Is whenever we talk about something like this, our brains just they become active. Like, what the hell he's talking about? So that activeness opens that gate of acceptance. Like if I talk about something in a very leanic, formal way, he'll be bored of that. Like, okay, he's talking. But if I say, oh, he's a motherfucker, who is this, who is that, he fucks it up, all that. These words are like kind of, you know, create a little spark inside of our heads. Like, oh, what the hell he's talking about? But that spark opens up a gate of whatever I'm gonna talk along with that. So that's why I'm using these kind of examples. I apologize if they, seem a little off the topic for you, but that's why I use these examples, just to acknowledge. I want you to acknowledge the whole thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's someone who's like kills someone else, let's say, okay. Now that killing is, before you go and pull the trigger, there is something that's going to happen inside of your head. Okay, if I'll kill this, then that's going to happen. The cops is going to arrive. His wife is going to be widowed, and then his kids are going to be orphan, whatever. All that's, and then that's the consequences it's going to have. That's what you think. It doesn't exist right now. If I change my mind, it never exists. Okay, but if I go up, put a bullet in his head, that's where things are going to happen, and not exactly as you planned or you thought, but according to their decisions and according to whatever they're going to do, because you're not the one who's running the world. Then whatever they're going to think, they're going to do, they're going to act according to, that's how things are going to be changed. So this action that you did in your present made a future just in front of you. All of that's going to happen is, of course, it's on its time, and somewhere in the future, like after a week, his wife is going to be either, like after a year, maybe his wife will be married or not, maybe his kids will be some whatever, but that's your action made a future, right? And at the same time, this action of yours made a past. You killed some son of a bitch at the time. Same thing. So these timelines, they're like equal, running with each other. It just depends on your actions, what you do. And when God says this, like, we have give every single person right now in this world, and the question that you've just asked me, like, why, how people are ignorant, why they're not authentic. Whoever is created, it's everyone is like, the one thing that you just compared with the Bible, the Christianity, like, people are, the Quran said everyone who is created is free of sins. He's not committing any sins, and then he then have to fight for the good, to be good. Okay, you have to fight for the evil and all that stuff, but he never sinned. That's truth. when you're when you're born child, what sins did you do? When you become a teenager, still unaware of stuff, what sins do you do? But once you're unaware, once you're mature, that's where things, because, and maturity is not something like you encounter. Even if you, after like getting birth, even if you live inside of a room for like your whole life, and after like 20 years you come out and see the world, it's not like you will still have this one feeling of good and bad inside of you. What is good, what is not good. There's always that shyness inside of you. If you're a teenager, let's say, if there's a teenager comes out, if someone goes and grabs his ass or something, there's some kind of feeling of shyness. There's some kind of feeling of badness inside. Hey, this is something that he feels awkward. There's something that's bad, that felt bad. This is the core built-in concept in each and every human. Each and everyone has it. And after, whenever you think of that, after when you do it, it's when you choose to do it. If you still go for that, you choose to go for that. If I'm sitting right now here, if I'm scrolling around, if I watch porn, if I watch video, kind of like a porn video, okay? Now, I've just scrolled over. Now, that just sparked, that my brain just got that picture inside of him, and now what the evil is like itching me from the inside, like, hey, go watch it, go watch it, go watch it, go watch it. All that stuff. It's not like you're whispering to me, but it's like starting to distract me out of whatever I'm doing, even if I'm working. He's gonna use not that. He's not gonna use that. He's gonna use the imagination that's going to create your sexual sensation, like the one imagination that, just like people have different fantasies. Okay, some get fantasized by watching anime or stuff like that. He's gonna convert that into that, and then he's going to make an imagination out of that, and he's going to show you that, to get you distracted. But once, that's where the fight comes. That's where you have this, yeah, I know this is bad, I should not do it, but still it's coming. That's where the fight is. Go up, go do something else, go up, go talk to someone, go up to do this physical activity, go. That's why these people have, in recent, like 3 to 4 years back, these people came up with this concept of no nut November. And they call you like, hey, okay, whenever it's like you think to get over this addiction of porn, you should, whenever you get this, go out and work out, go out and do this, go out and do that. Because that's what they've found. And they come up with these ideas when they explore this. Now we didn't know it, but at the end of the day, they want to be, uh, they want not to be distracted by it. So to stay out of those distractions, they do these kind of certain activities. But the main concept behind this is, of course, always there's the thought that comes inside of your mind before you do something. No one forces you to do it, not even the devil to grabs your hand, and that's what's written in Quran. When at the day of resurrection, when you will blame devil, like he did this, he made me did that, he made me go there and do this, he's gonna say just one single fucking line. He's gonna say, I just called you. I never grabbed your hand and made you do that. I just called you. You followed up on my call. You've turned that into actual physical world. That's what I told you. This physical world it runs and works once you do something physically. As long as it's in your mind, it's in your intentions. If you're not doing it, it's not going to make any difference. It's only going to affect once you do it. Once you change and push this physical world, when you do that stuff, that's what the devil never does to you. Never makes you do it, never pushes you to do it. It just calls you for that. And by these means, by all that stuff, that's how the whole concept. So that's how all these things are connected to each other, and that's why that guide is there for us to follow. That's where the connection is. There's nothing unlogical. There's nothing that is superstitious. There's nothing something like not for you. Everything is there, but people don't give a shit. They just want to live like they want to live. That's all. And the God is never gonna tell them to not to do it. God always warns by all these, unnatural stuff or whatever God has mentioned inside of that. But people take it like, oh, it's an unusual thing. It happened because of this, and that's where I was telling you another thing that I just, shifted my mind from, is that everything is very simple to understand. If I know something, this is the greed, this is something that I don't want from you. And there's a lot of like race and all that. If I know something, just like right now, there's nothing complicated. Have you faced anything complicated, whatever I've just said? Anything.
Mm, none of the
Like right now,
concepts are complicated, but obviously
it is
language processing, and keeping up with all of it.
actually
Because my mind branches
uh,
out. My mind branches out. You say one thing, I start thinking about other things, going
okay.
off and thinking about this and that, and then you're on to the next thing, and I'm like, okay, I got to
It
focus
is
on this now. So obviously the
okay
language processing, and we're human
because
beings.
I
There's not going to be a perfect way to communicate between human beings, but none of the concepts are complicated.
the actual reason of I want you to give all these little glimpses, all these little clips of each and everything, so that you can know that, yeah, all of that is still, there is a lot to talk about that for this, but still, this a lot is not a lot. It is like you can go for length, but it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
The concept thing that I was talking about is, um, like, what I was talking about. God damn it! So this concept was like, it is not that it is not that complicated. It is so easy. Just like this, each and everything in this world is easy. But if I don't want you to know something, okay? If I'm in a country, if we create something, it'll just like in McDonald's and all these restaurants, they have this recipe, okay? The only reason they don't want to let you know is because, of course, once you know the recipe, there is no McDonald's anymore. It's done. It's just bankrupted. No one's gonna go there except for the lazy people who cannot make it. Okay, That's the thing. This world goes on for if there's a knowledge that I have, and if I don't want you to know it for whatever reason, like whatever reason, it can be a lot of reason. It can be race, it can be enemy, it can be your foes, it can be anything. If I don't want to know it, what I'll do, I cannot hide it. The more I'll try to, because of course, at the end of the day, I'll have to teach it to someone else who's going to come after me. Okay, otherwise I'm just gonna take it to my grave. Nothing will change. Nothing will happen. So for my own legacy to to be successful, I'll have to teach it all to them, so they can do it to the others, and the legacy chain goes on. But you are a different chapter. You have your own legacy. You're a different person than me. Okay. Now, if I don't want you to, I don't want, I don't want you to know this. What I'll do is, at the end of the day, I'll make it complicated for you. That's what happens out there. Each and everything that you want to know, you want to learn is complicated. It is like coursed. You have to course it. You have to do it in this certain way. You have to take the same steps that I did and all that stuff. It is so complicated. That is the reason that those bastards at that place, at that top, they don't want to let you know about this, because if you know about it, you can take over to them. That's what they don't want. I don't want to lose. Like, if there's a correct person, he never wants to lose his seat. He loves his seat. He puts his ass on that daily. He never wants you to put his ass on it because he loves it. Now, to prevent it, he will not make you as aware or as educated as he is. Whatever he knows, he's not going to let you know that. He's going to make that complicated, and that's why we are far away, far behind from all these other guys that are ahead of us. It is not like because they have some kind of a knowledge, some kind of futuristic knowledge. Everything they have in their minds is shit simple. The fact is, it is made complicated on purpose for you, just because you just start doing this, and then there's the circumstances that are there in your life, and then you will end up like, okay, fuck it, man, I don't want to do it, just leave it. That's where you stop. That's where you don't go there. That's truth I've discovered when I was with cybersecurity. I had some Russian people I knew, and we had these conversations with each other. They knew a little bit of an English, so we had used to have this conversation with each other. So that's where I discovered that, yeah, that's a reality. That's, people don't let you know the knowledge and information about stuff. That's the thing. That's why educational systems are just doing nothing but
Yeah.
all that stuff as realities. So if you want to, that's why Allah always tells you to, if you want to be successful, follow this path. Follow this path. That's where you become aware. And by becoming aware, you always make right choice. And once you make right choice, right decisions, you always go towards the right direction. That's it. That's the whole concept behind it. And you will take the ones that you love. I don't know if you love someone or not, but if you can change them just like this logically, you don't force them to be changed. But if you can change them, you can do it. If they are worthy enough to do it, it just depends. It just comes. It's not like God stopped them to do this. It is because their hearts are like this. You don't know them from their hearts. You just know them whatever they are, how they do stuff. You just know them from the outside physical, whatever their existence is. You don't know them from the heart. That's where God knows them. And if God is not giving someone the guidance, it's because God knows their heart, what they're going to do after that. Because God really hates hypocrites. Hypocrites, is a person who is like
Yeah.
something from the inside and something from the outside.
Yeah.
So that's the fact. That's what I still look forward to. I never, even if I've been through some bad shit in my time. Like, I'm 22 years old. been through my whole life. I've lived like alone. I've been alone 22 years. It's like I'm 22 years. I've lived my no friends, no nothing. Everyone that I had, it's just because of the business we had to do all these connections and all that. It's just because of the business. There is no friend. There is no nothing. We had business. We have money being distributed between each other. That's all. Once you have your money, you can go to your home, jerk off, whatever you do. That's all. No one gives a shit. So I've never had anyone like to be. Why? Because the world is when you sit in between people that you don't connect with, they're just lost in their own lives and their own bullshit. You don't feel that connection with them, of course. Then why would you want to waste your time with? And even if you open your mouth about all this, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, what the hell are you talking about? We're bored. We want to talk about the latest trends and all that stuff in the world and wow, or whatever stuff." Is that's where they're struck and distracted specifically. See, I never found my like someone that I can talk to, someone that I can relate to. That's why I've lived my whole life alone. Still don't have anyone to hang around. 16 years I've been like after my high school, first thing I did was I've learned game design. That's where I've been reviewing games from that time for 2 years. And after that, I did my research in anatomy and physiology of humans. And then for 1 year, for 2 years basically, I was doing fitness and health consultants online to people who were like in the U.S. specifically, who don't have this social security kind of a thing from the government. So they were like out there looking for a way that can treat that they can be treated from by natural ingredients, not like the medication and all that chemicalized stuff. By working on their own lives, making their habits good, and to make their life good. So that's what the whole consultation was about. And then here, where I'm living, I personally trained people on calisthenics because I had the knowledge of it. And then after that, I went into the cyber world, cybersecurity, and all that stuff. And after that, I've the last job I did was like, yeah, it was a voiceover thing. I started that on 2017, and till now in 2022, I've been a voice actor, a voiceover artist. I've been doing voice like Foley work for some studios and stuff like that to make the game sound effects and all that stuff. So that's what my job experience and study experiences. And then I was doing all these things like simultaneously. The days for the work, the night is for the research and study. The days for the work, the night is for the research and study, and that's all. And after like 2021, I've turned my network down because of some personal reasons. And then I've just, I took a break from this fast-paced world, needed some time out of this, and then right now I'm doing this articulated work, writing down scripts, and that is like enough for me to live, and that's all. But the way my life feels so, uh, you know, you can say you've seen that I'm not that much of an enthusiast into it. I'm not just like rushing into it. Is because I'm aware of the facts and figures, and I've pretty much like 80% I've accepted the realities, and this is something that I've found so much harsher and painful than anything else to accept the realities. At that time, I wanted to see the world from God's eyes, and now when He shown me the world, when He have shown me the world, it's like it's unacceptable. So that's why I'm just easy on it. Like, okay, let it happen because I know the facts and figures. What's gonna happen after all? What is the end point of that? I don't know the midpoint, what the actions are gonna be. It just depends on people, what they're gonna do. But the end point thing that they will end up with is gonna be this, according to their actions. That's why I just let it this life go. That's why I call like I've lived enough, and that's all. It's not like there is no purpose for me. like everyone that is living right now, there is a physical reason for him to live. Okay. If I'm someone who is married, who have kids, and I'm going out, gambling around, drinking, smoking, and uh, raindrop, drop top, smoking and cooking in the hot pot, doing all that stuff,
Mm.
then there's a reason that I'm living. It's because out of all of that, there is a family that I have to feed. There's the kids, there's the wife, there's all of the others, elders that I have to do. Okay, they eat, they get it all. It's not because they're a slave to me. It's like I'm the only one, or God is like so much, forced towards me. Like even if I'm a kind of like a burden on his planet, he's still keeping me alive because he's like, okay, you're the only one who's gonna feed them. No, it is because they need you at some point. They want you in a separate way. Once these reasons are done, once you're not worthy enough to do this, once your morals are down, once you're dead from inside, once you're dead from the place where God is watching you from, the death is yours. You're gonna die in whatever cause, in a gunfight, in a police fight, whatever. You're gonna come under a truck or whatever. You're gonna be dying. Then God will make more ways for you and your family and all that stuff. So that's how. There are reasons. That's just an example I just told you.
Hmm.
It's not just specific to family that you have to feed a family. There can be some other reasons that you're living right now. You're not aware of them right now, but in your life, sometime ahead, they will come towards you, and you'll know that. That's the point. So yeah, there is a reason I'm living. That's why I've maybe met you. There's
Maybe.
shit there. Yeah, maybe that's why I've met you.
Yeah.
Reasons. That's why. So yeah, we will talk about it. I'm open to give you all this knowledge because I know at some point I admire your curiosity and the way you're catching up all that stuff. So I'm open to give it all to you. But yeah, that's it. But that's what my experience so far. You're not me, I'm not you.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
can be there can be other circumstances for you specific to this one. I
Yeah.
don't
And
know
we're
what
likely
it
going to
may be.
disagree on a lot of stuff too. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
No, no. In real life, I'm gonna talk about like after knowing all these things, after being aware of all that stuff, whatever you're gonna face in your life, it can be different from whatever I've
Yeah.
faced.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking.
Yeah. But
But at the end, yeah,
I guess we got a lot to talk about. That's for sure. But um, I gotta head out pretty soon. But what I would say is gather up whatever like whatever message you want to put out there into the world. Let's start
okay,
compartmentalizing. Let's start just create like video titles, right? Create video titles with like categories. We'll make them into notes, and then you can start throwing in all the ideas that revolve around that connect to the other notes into that, and we could start building like a catalog of it, and then we could share it with the Discord server. Like just tell them like, oh, these are the video ideas. Who wants to work on these with me? Who wants to help me do this research and find these quotes and do all this stuff, edit the videos and all that, and I think it'll be pretty easy to find help to make these videos if it's clear to them like what the message is.
yeah. But the thing is that that is the reason I was talking to use this concept of like gaming and all that stuff is because people are just like it's not just like you and me, but the other guys are who are like there's a phobia if we just go straight into it like yeah this is in Islam, this is this word they'll be like no we don't accept it. That's but you have to just tell them the message first. Once they're seeing the change, once they're familiar with the change and they understand that yeah that this is real, that's truth, that has an effect, then you can reveal that yeah that was the main source
Yeah,
that it was from Islam. Because if you just straight up go into it, it's going to be criticize, it's gonna be critical and all that stuff, all that phobia and
I guess
whatever
so. Yeah.
is out there.
I guess.
That's why you have to use something to clothe it under to give it to someone else like a message. So what do you do for a living, by the way?
Right now, I'm taking a break. I'm not working on anything. I mean, I'm working on a project right now. I'm blessed enough to be able to like be in a position where I can just focus on starting a business. You might be interested in this. I'm starting a VPN, just like all the other
Okay.
VPNs out there. Obviously, it's not. I'm not gonna unethically market it. I'm not gonna say, oh, this will protect you from the FBI and all this stuff. I'm not gonna
Of
over
course,
promise
never.
anything. But I plan on just making it a VPN just like any of the other ones with nothing that really stands out except I feel as though I can market it better. I and I,
Why
mhm.
why you chose the VPN as a product, as a
because
business?
it wasn't even like, oh, I saw an opportunity or whatever. It was I was talking to this influencer. We used to be acquainted a while back, a couple of years ago, and he was making like exploring the dark web type of content. And
Okay.
it's all fake. It's like marketed to like impressionable little kids.
Yeah,
Oh, buying a mystery box on the dark web. We put everything
yeah.
in there. We decide, yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
And so, but also the kind of people that watch it and the kind of people that believe it are also very impressionable, and and sponsorships work very easily on them. And
On VPNs, right?
yeah, any kind of sponsorship would work easily on that kind of audience.
Okay.
And so I like just being acquainted with him. The way that the relationship is with those kinds of people that like have multiple like millions of followers on TikTok and things like that. It's like I'll randomly reach out to a company and ask to like, oh, would you pay $1,000 to sponsor this guy? And they'll go like, yeah, sure. And I'll go to him and I'll go like, oh, would you take $800 to promote this company? And he'll go, sure. And I'll take $200 off the top. And he knows the situation. He's aware of it. He knows how it goes. He can't read all of the emails that he gets. He can't reach out to all the companies that he thinks will be a potential opportunity. So I reach out to NordVPN. There's like every other YouTuber, and I go like, "Oh, would you sponsor this guy?" So I send them the pitch. I tell them the whole deal of how we're gonna do it. I go like, "We're gonna make a video showing like this is how you go on the dark web," because that was always the most common comment that he got was like, "Oh, how do I access the dark web?" And honestly, I'm not a big fan of this kind of content. I'm not a fan of what it promotes either. But I was like, again, I was doing what I had to do. So
So how far have you like took it now for now so far?
it's in development right now. Should be done in about a month. Um,
Okay, that's good.
so
What is the
like
name?
Frog VPN.
Frog.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. It's just like frog jumps from one
Mm-hmm.
pallet from the other one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah. So what happened was this. I told them like the exact way we're going to promote it. I told them this is how it's going to get a lot of conversions. It's going to work because of this. This is our audience. And I gave them the whole rundown. And then they're like, okay, let's do it. Let's see a video. So we made a video, uh, made it really good, unlisted the video, sent it to them, and to get approval. And then they're like, some higher up was like, oh, sorry, we can't do this deal because we don't want to be associated with dark web content and or anything like this, any negative kind of content. And it makes sense from their perspective because from their perspective um it was like they have share price to worry about. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. They're not worried about getting an extra like 5,000 subscriptions when they have billions of dollars at stake if their company reputation is on the line. Especially a VPN company, they have everything to lose if even the slightest thing happens with the reputation. So they didn't want to do the deal. But I'm like, hey, dude, all the deals that they don't want to do to make a living, to make money, to pursue the things I want to pursue, I would do the deal. I would promote the VPN. They're going to use the VPN. Someone's going to use it. It's not a bad thing that they use the VPN. And if you're being honest in your education on what a VPN actually is and what it can do for them, I don't see a reason to not. I mean, I do see a reason,
Exactly.
but not a reason that I can't overcome with the things that I plan on doing with the money, like drastically overcome. But literally, what their prediction was, this was our market research. They told us that they would pay us $27,000 to for us to, like, if the video went through, if they approved it, which is like, that's insane. $27,000 US dollars. That's a lot of money for anyone. And we could have made one of those videos a day. And it was like the greatest opportunity that we ever came across, and it didn't work because they had corporate stuff to worry about, which is understandable. Usually that guy will only get like $3,000 to $5,000 for a sponsorship, and so I'm like, I thought about it some more, or we thought about it together before we had a falling out, but we thought about it and we're like, okay, any sponsorship for any video is always getting the better end of the deal. No VPN is going to sponsor someone for $27,000 unless they know they're going to make 100,000, unless they're confident in that, because they have agents to pay, they have marketing budgets, they have infrastructure to run, they have HR departments and support, like security support, account support people, and all this stuff. So like, they're obviously going to get the way better end of the deal. And then I thought about it, or we thought about it, but it was mainly me. And I'm like, how much would it really cost to make a VPN? Like the real high end sponsorships that people do on YouTube are when people promote their own company. They're like KSI and Logan Paul promoting Prime, or Mr. Beast promoting Feastables. Those are the real, like, when you're promoting your own business, basically using it. That's really what it's always been about. You're collecting the
Exactly. Exactly.
70% that you're not getting as a result. And we looked into
Exactly.
it, and it turns out it's actually really not that difficult to create a VPN. There's literally open source VPNs that let you just take their code completely from GitHub and just reformat the front end to be whatever you want it to be. So I partnered with two developers that also live like an hour away from me, in Georgia, and they have 12% of the company. I have 88% of the company, and we started working on it about 2 months ago. We should be done in maybe 40 days. All four apps, so iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows. It's a pretty simple app. I want to add more features to it once it launches, and I want to make the front end look a lot better. Right now, the design is looking okay, and I think I could do a lot better with the design. But I just want to get it done as soon as possible, And then I'm gonna. There's a lot of instances that I see that I could promote it, and a lot of creators that I look at and I go like, for them it would be a good deal. For the VPN, it would obviously be a very good deal. The market research has proven itself. The fact that VPNs are so unbelievably like lucrative, the fact that they could just promote anyone, and even to someone whose audience has no idea what a VPN is and they have to explain what a VPN is, it still works to generate profit.
Exactly.
If I'm clever with my strategy, which I've come
You
up with,
can just
yeah,
you can just tell people like right start right off of a bat, like a VPN
yeah,
is like, even if it's someone who's dumb enough to know what it is privacy.
yeah.
That's where you can start it over.
And I have a lot of clever little holes in marketing that I plan on exploiting. It would take a long time to explain them, but there's a lot of marketing stuff that I have in the works, and I see a very clear path to maybe like 20,000 paid subscribers monthly. I see a very clear path to getting that,
That's good.
which is like, bro, the guys that I talked to at the infrastructure that we're using is pure VPN, pure white label. That's the infrastructure that we're using and building off of. We're paying them $1 a month per user, and we're gonna charge whatever 9.99 a month or whatever, something like that. Still deciding, but literally, in their end, it costs them 8 cents per user to run all their traffic on average, which it's like that's an insane profit margin. Even
Exactly.
one charging $1 a month for a VPN is a over 90% of the money that's being earned is profit, and people are paying $10 a month for a VPN, which is insane.
Exactly.
We still have to implement a free version with ads. That's actually turning out to be a lot trickier than I originally thought because people don't look at the app once they turn it on. So we need a different way to integrate ads. But I think it's a very potentially lucrative business, and I'm always looking for people to join on and help me market it and help like take control of certain niches and like I have one guy who's like into the freedom, masculinity, conspiracy theory, like disaster prepper, like people that are paranoid about the future kind of thing, and he's going to promote to all that. He's going to handle that whole niche. And so, hey, if you find an opportunity here to collect passive income, I'd be more than happy to bring you on. But we could talk more about it, more about the details later.
Or are you like are you financially okay with all that
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
You know, like you have a financial support in the back
I'm
talking about.
I'm good for financially. I'm good for the next maybe 6 months. I don't have to work at all,
Okay, that's cool. That's good.
and I
Because
have a lot
personally,
of
even
I have a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
confidence in this VPN. I think like I mean, with 1,000 subscribers, that's already 10 grand a month. So
that's great.
yeah,
When I
I'm
was like,
mhm.
yeah, yeah, go on.
No, no, keep going, keep going.
Okay. When I was like doing all that recent work that I just talked about, I was earning like a good amount of money. Like it's like I think for some of the jobs were like paying me wages like per week. Some of them were paying like per projects, like the gaming ones, and some of them like I was having a good amount of money at that time. But since I left it, the way I used to like have money from it is I had a wallet, online digital wallet. It was not like the Bitcoin wallet, but it's like a digital wallet that exists digitally. There is no physical existence of it, like a bank or something. Okay. So from that wallet, what happened is there were two, three more people, similar to me doing the same work, but they were like from different countries. So when we had our money, whoever sends us the money, who sends directly into that wallet, and then after that, what we used to do is there's another the partner who was like who used to make these wallets for us. He had the actual physical money that he had. So whatever is on that in that wallet, which is like digital, he collects it. He was like recycling that money. It's like that. Like we don't get the money that is inside the wallet. We get what is equal to it in dollars, like in real dollars and real notes and money. So what he used to do is whenever any of us had money in our wallets, we used to talk to him like, "I want money." It was like, okay, he takes that digital money out of the wallet and he just circles over it to wherever the other guys were, the other ends, like from the places we were getting paid for. And then the actual amount that I wanted, that was inside of my wallet, he used to give me in the actual like dollars of that stuff. So that was a whole thing going on. But for some privacy concerns, I've told you that I've dropped my network in 2022. Since then, I've had nothing really in my pockets because when you're up there living a life like that, you know, everything is up there balanced, you're having money and all that. When you come down from this, the life just goes tight on you, tight, really tight on you. So from that part, I really tried to look for any ways, any jobs like corporate, and all that corporate was like nothing but shit. They just treat you like a slave. I've never worked like in a corporate sector. I've been doing all that online, and I was okay with that. But after that time, I was really unstable. Before that, I had money enough to go all along. But since then, I'm really unstable about the money, and that's why I've mentioned that I need money, not I don't want money. I need a specific thing. So, but this work that I do right now, this articulated work, it is just barely enough for me to live along. That's it. So
Okay.
yeah, that's my side of story.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Um, we'll talk some more, but I gotta head out.
Okay, it's okay.
Also,
It's
who's this other guy? Slodel?
Oh, he's just a random person. He was like about to sleep, so he was like waiting for me to talk. So I was like, okay, you can join the call. So he was like, okay, but now he's sleeping. He's
Okay.
just out of the circle. He's not, related to any of that stuff.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
out of this.
Um.
So
Okay.
if you
Cool.
have give me first of all, give me a specific you know time, specific time that you want to acknowledge this concept that I have, first of all, so that we can have a specific time to talk about this. And then, yeah, first, just like next time when you want it, whenever you're free, whenever you're stressless from your mind, there's nothing in your mind. We can talk about this further. But then at that time, I will take you with the like with a path, with an actual conceptual path. First, we'll talk about the things that you want to know. I'm not going to go through like my way. Okay, go through this. No. First, come up with your curiosity. I want to know about this. What is this thing? I want to know about this
I'm gonna
thing.
have a lot though. I'm gonna if we're going that way, I'm gonna have a lot. It's gonna be like never ending, dude.
No, it's okay. I'm open to that, but you have to tell me a specific time for this. Like, what time do you want it to be, and how
Okay.
long you want it to be
What time is
per
it?
day?
What time is it for you right now?
For me, it's like day and night or clock.
Like clock.
For me, it's I'm like 3 to 4 hours behind you.
Okay. Right now it's 6:29 p.m. for me, okay?
Okay.
And I can usually get on Discord like I'm not going to have like a set point where I have like 8 hours to just talk about this. Not for a little while. I will in the future, but not right now. Maybe give me like a
Okay.
few couple months to finish this project, to like finish the development at least. But
You can
um
you can go on like for 2 hours if you want to
yeah,
give
yeah,
it
I'll be on for like 2, 3, 4 hours every night. Um from I'll say 8 to 12. So in about an hour and a half from right now. Um yeah, from an hour and a half from right now at 8 p.m. for me up until 12 midnight for me, I'll basically be able to get on pretty much every night. Some of the nights I'll like if I was busy the earlier in the day, I'll have to go to the gym later, so that might eat into that time. And then sometimes there might be like events or things I have to go to. So I'd say consistently like 5 days out of the week, I'll be on around that time. Today I'm busy. Today there's this like UFC event, and I got invited to this place. I have to go meet up with some people.
okay, sure.
But I mean, I'll be on tomorrow. I'm free tomorrow.
And the second thing is if you have any kind of you know work for me to do, because out of this articular work I have like 5 to 6 hours free. So I want to do any kind of a, because my network just dropped. So that from that point, I was like, if you have anything specific that I can get money from or anything.
I'll if an opportunity comes by, I'll let you know.
Okay, it's okay. All right, I'll look forward to it.
Okay. All right. See ya.
See you. Take care. Have a good day.
You too. You too. All right. Bye.